How do y'all feel about AI?
When it comes to art, I'm not a fan because I don't feel that you can create something out of other people's. Like, I don't know. Like
Well,
AI
it's
as
about consent, right? Or not even consent. It's like, okay, so artists. I'm with you, by the way.
yeah, yeah.
Artists all pull from other art, yes,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
don't think generative AI is an artist.
Well,
Even
yeah,
if
because
it's
you're
someone's
copying.
putting, yeah, it's an aggregate, right? Like someone's
Right.
putting in a prompt and say, "I want to see this," and then it pulls from all these other artists,
Mm-hmm.
and now you have something new. And a lot of the times, money is involved.
Yep.
That's why the only time I'm cool with it is memes,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just for the lulz, right?
Right.
But otherwise, people are like spending, like they're making this art for monetary purposes
Mm-hmm.
or charging for the AI thing itself. And it's like, but you just stole all the content it's drawing from, which isn't fair because now money's involved in all that stuff.
Right. You're stealing from other artists.
I mean, art, no, definitely not a great idea. But as far as learning, technology,
Like I can see its
health,
applications in
yeah,
health and
yeah.
stuff, like
Sure.
But it's like it
yeah.
went directly to the art area, and that's where we're trying to keep it.
And like so health or other ethical uses, but
Yeah.
stuff like how Wizards of the is it Wizards of the Coast?
Yes. They started using. Yeah, they started using AI for some of the art.
Hasbro laid off 1,100 artists.
Hmm.
Yep.
1,100 artists, and then they put up job listings for people to touch up the AI work,
Yep.
i.e., fix the fingers and shit.
So they
Mm-hmm.
they fired the artists and hired engineers.
So like that's not problematic to people, but that's the thing, they don't care because it's money.
It's money.
Right.
It's money,
And
So
that's the biggest problem.
and they know somebody's gonna buy it.
yeah, yeah.
But I don't know, because I also think the issue is with AI and art is, to me, is you're gonna keep it stagnant. There's gonna be no growth or change or imagination, because all AI can do is copy whatever person you're trying to get it to mimic.
It's absolutely going to feel hollow.
Yeah, lifeless. You don't get the experience from the artist. Like
Yeah,
all you're doing is just getting word prompts and nothing else behind it. There's also like using AI to replicate people's voices. So again, voiceover work
yeah.
is like the next big thing coming now through AI, and it's just
Yeah,
like,
they're about to. Japan
hmm
is about to clear house in the anime industry, and
hmm
it's unfortunate.
It's
yep,
gonna be.
Like, so music would still fall under art, but just
hmm
straight up like you said, voiceover work. Uh, and they're not going to tell you either. They're
nope,
going to keep that shit tight lipped because they
Yep.
know. But
It's gonna have to be the artist speaking up.
I mean, what artists?
right, right,
So it's just the company not telling. But this is how you figure it out. You try and find out who that is talking, and then you can't actually find a person. Because like I was reading an article on MSN, and I was like, a fucking robot wrote this. I could tell. I can tell. Like I can't explain it, but I know a robot wrote this. Just how it was, the verbiage
Mhm.
and how generic it felt. And I was like, who wrote this? And you know how usually on articles you can go see the art, the not the artist, the freaking
the
author,
writer, yeah,
right? So it had a name, but it wasn't a link when you click on it. You know how you could click on it, see there are other articles? Nope. And I was like, they just picked a name, they generated a name, so it made it look like somebody wrote this, but nobody actually wrote this article. All it's
didn't they?
doing is
Didn't they also
stating,
have a problem with Sports Illustrated? They found that the company that they were going through was basically just using AI to write articles for Sports Illustrated, and they had to pull a few articles.
I didn't hear about that specifically, but I
hmm
believe it.
Yeah.
So there's that. But the AI in this movie though is kind of neat.
Yes.
So what about like future of AI? Not specifically like the art and the news articles and shit like that we've been talking about, but like futuristic robots and shit. How do you feel
I
about that?
feel that it is a slippery slope, and again, this is all coming down to capitalism, and it's just trying to find a way to for legal slavery.
Yeah.
Because again, like all the entire purpose of these robots was that they were built so that they can do tasks that people didn't want to do.
You don't want a robot butler?
Oh no, it's great and all, but the problem is that it's never going to be us that's going to see profits or any kind of like benefit of that. Like it's always going to be large corporations, and they're going to find every way to. And
Chris,
this is good.
Chris,
Yep.
look at my fucking room behind me. You see this? This shit ain't changed since you met me. I need a robot butler yesterday.
It's gotten worse. There's more. There's
I'm
more
a
there.
benefit from a robot butler.
Yeah, but will you be able to afford a robot butler?
Hell no.
Yeah, it's great when you think about it that way, but like I said, like we will never see a benefit of it. Like it would always be.
I don't think the world ain't ready for it. It's until the, I guess, power structure, quote unquote.
Nah, you got to get right from within.
It ain't.
How you gonna win if you ain't right within,
No,
Karreem?
because think about it. Think about it. You gotta have your AI butler, right? You know they're putting a whole bunch of spyware in that robot.
Are they gonna sell you data
to know and see everything?
I got a little like Google spy bot in my room right now. I mean, like everyone
your phone.
It's my phone. It's my Nest. Like like everything. Like your TV now has microphones built in, not because like you talk to your TV, but it's so they can hear what's going on, so they can advertise to you better.
Yeah.
All I know, if they actually start putting, like, next 5-10 years, you start seeing actual AIs getting pushed out, seeing commercials. That's where I'm learning to be a hacker. To figure out how to get some sort of control in my life. I'm hacking something.
Wait, AI in commercial? What are you talking about?
Where they start pushing AI robots. If we see like an AI butler actually come out.
Oh, okay. So you don't want an AI butler?
No, not until I know
if it's a third-gen model that's affordable?
I mean,
once it becomes intelligent enough to understand that it has free will, it becomes.
That's the next question.
Right.
If it was like the AIs from that video game that was out.
The man with the thing?
Huh?
What numbers?
No, it was a video game where
Detroit?
Detroit. If it's that type of AI, I don't know. Who's making it? I need to know that part.
Yeah, so that's the next part then.
So
who's making it? Because I don't trust anybody in the United States.
It's Tesla.
Oh no, that's not.
Would you buy Elon bot?
Oh hell no! Absolutely not.
No, you got to keep that away from me. Yes.
Don't they have one, or at least like what it would look like?
They're working on a robot right now. They had that whole thing where they had a person in a suit dancing around for their announcement for a Tesla robot. But yeah, they're working on one right now.
I'm just waiting for the first news reports where they built the AI robot that killed people because the coding went wrong. I'm just waiting for that.
Let me go ahead and start this episode. But
let's do it. I
will say, like, I see some benefits, but I am scared shitless.
The benefits are there.
Look, I watch too many movies, man. Like,
we ain't ready.
Any chance I get to bring up Skynet, I'm bringing it up.
Look, what's the 3 rules? Y'all got the 3 rules right?
Look, so
they always end up hurting people. I don't understand.
Man, like, could you imagine, like, Skynet activates and, like, your doorbell start going off, your Roomba start going off, your phone stop working? Like, what are you gonna do? I have a dumb house. I don't want no Echo or Alexa. I said Alexis. Alexa.
Yep.
Man, look, it's bad enough my phone always listening to me, but something about, like, but I need a phone. Mm-hmm. Also, like, I realized that after I already had a phone and got used to having a phone, I don't want to go back. But, like, I can stop there, right?
I can't lie. I got a Chrome in my house.
Oh, I know. I see it.
Not having to touch the lights.
I was like, please don't let Skynet activate while I'm sleeping over at your house.
I have a smart home, so everything's on everything's on some kind of word trigger. So,
well, on that note, thank you for joining us today. If this is your first time with us, we're the secret group.
We need to put that on AI.
Thank you. Shut up. Don't replace me with AI. No. I got to leave that in because that's funny as shit. Thank you for joining us today. If this is your first time with us, we're the secret group of brown kids. Who are the secret group of brown kids? It's a secret. But you might be able to find us, for one, welcoming our robot overlords. My name is Tiffzilla, your host, and on this podcast, I make my friends watch movies with me and talk about their feelings. And on the panel today, experiencing tranquility, Karreem.
Yes, everything is good except for that robot looking at me from the back corner.
And experiencing nothingness, Chris.
There is nothing going on in my head right now.
That's an achievement.
It is.
That's bliss. That is bliss.
Yeah.
The voices have quieted down for the first time.
I'm gonna take credit for that. So, and the movie of the week is The Creator. Came out last year, 2023. If you don't know what it is, against a backdrop of war between humans and robots with artificial intelligence, a former soldier finds a secret weapon, a robot in the form of a young child. Came out in September 2023, theatrical release, and it's currently streaming on Hulu. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. I'm going to recommend it. Spoiler alert.
I was surprised it went to Hulu first.
It's because it's
Disney.
I think it's 20th
Disney.
century, so it's under Disney. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The overlords, Disney.
Also, why this movie? Because I said it. It was one of my 2023 favorite movies. If you listen to that episode with the recommendations, and directed by Gareth Edwards, who did Rogue One, Godzilla 2014, and his breakout was a indie movie called Monsters. That's what got
Monsters?
him. Yeah,
Not
that's what got him
Monster.
not Monster, but Monsters with the octopus jinx.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what got him Godzilla. Then Godzilla got him Rogue One, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
And I don't always shout out the cinematographers, but it was nice, this movie. Like I said, cinematography is interesting because if you notice it, it's either you're noticing it because it's bad or it's great. If it's normal, you don't think about it.
Yep.
And if it's bad, you ain't want to shout them out. So
you could take a few of these shots and just put them as like paintings on the wall. Like it was gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got Greg Fraser. I'm not sure if I said that right, but he did Dune, the Batman, and Rogue One. So Edwards worked with them before.
That makes sense.
And there was a second cinematographer named Oren Sofer.
Is this the AI cinematographer?
No, he's a real
That's what he
person.
said called.
My bad. I'm sorry. That's one thing that happens throughout the movie is Baby Denzel will be like her, and then the military would be like it. So it's the details. Anyway, so starring, I know I called him Baby Denzel, and I say this all the time. I need to stop calling him Baby Denzel because this man is like 42.
Yeah. It's Denzel.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that.
Wow. That's wow.
No, you don't. Look, with all due respect to Denzel Washington, as someone with a difficult name to say, I understand not correcting people, but you've been out for 40 years.
That's true.
You don't just be like, oh, by the way, it's Denzel, and expect it to stick. I mean, by the way, it's Denzel. Okay, cool. Oh, that's...
But
we've been saying it wrong. My bad.
Know. But he could have been correcting people off camera.
I mean, but it would have happened.
Interviews. Yeah.
We knew about Rihanna.
Yep.
Is Rihanna?
You didn't, but we knew about Rihanna. And people still call her Rihanna, but she made it known publicly early on that it's Rihanna, and people kept saying Rihanna. And she was like, all right, I'm not going to correct you. It's cool.
You know
but
what? She
said
knew, it. She knew Rihanna wasn't going to get her famous.
Shut up.
Denzel and
but
Rihanna
like Denzel didn't say it until
it's like
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, oh, by the way, it's Denzel. I mean, I knew that though because I've heard the name before in other whatever.
Maybe the agent has something to do with that because back then the sounding of names they viewed real.
No, it was black people. He was Denzel since school. That's exactly what it was. Like that's why he didn't care. But yeah, and like Rihanna was Rihanna in Barbados, but she came here and was Rihanna. Then she corrected him and was like, you know what, life's too short. Whatever, keep moving. Yeah,
Rihanna. That's a white woman that can't sing.
I don't think I've met any white person named Rihanna, but that's just me.
Isn't that a country singer?
Is it?
Or am I thinking? Or am I going with like? Is it Leanne Rhymes?
Probably.
Anyway.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah. Thank you. Written by Gareth Edwards and Chris Weitz. Chris Weitz, side note, this is mind-boggling to me. He made American Pie with his brother Paul.
Oh.
So it's just interesting seeing, like, apparently he does a lot in Hollywood, so not just writing, he produces, directs. He's been all over the place. But it's just interesting. The American Pie guy also wrote this movie. Like,
yeah,
came a long way since American Pie.
Maybe that's the reason why I couldn't get behind Joshua.
Oh my god, we'll get to it.
Yep.
Budget 80 million. Box office 40.7 mil domestic, so US, Canada, Puerto Rico. International 63.5, total 104.2.
Is that good?
So nah,
Not really.
not
No.
the studios, because the budget usually doesn't include marketing, and even if it did, they still wanted to knock it out of the park because they're chasing profits.
Yeah.
And it barely made above what it cost to make. So let's say they broke even.
Yep.
Which, honestly, non-existing IP sci-fi, this is good for that, because usually, technically, they're all flops.
Yep.
Yeah, isn't this like a kind of a niche thing?
Yeah, sci-fi is always niche. Hard sci-fi, especially, is always niche. And then people don't see it right up front. They always see it after the fact. So almost all of the original sci-fi either flop or break even.
Yep.
They don't really go on a run unless it's like Christopher Nolan, you know,
or Godzilla +1.
That's not original. That's
existing IP.
Of all the IPs.
That is existing IP. You're right.
60 years of Godzilla's goes. I can't do the Godzilla roar. I'm sorry. But so tell me if this makes sense to you, because it does to me. Rotten Tomatoes, audience 76, critic 66.
It does. It does.
It does. I will say I can see the critic score being a bit lower because the third act gets a little wonky, the writing.
Too long.
And well, I'm not going to get into that. I was going to say the theme, it wasn't just straight up like it was science fiction, and science fiction always deals with like other themes outside of just science fiction, you know what I mean? It's usually either commentary or other themes, and like obviously this one had to do a lot with theology, and usually that don't go over well with critics. Yeah. Sometimes it does if they could pull it off, but usually they lean towards like when it's more anti. So I wonder how much that plays into it. Like, it's not a huge thing. It's not like guaranteed to bomb if it has to deal with God or anything, but it might knock off like 5%. So between the third act and that, I can see why it's a lower critic score. But before we get into it, I'm going to shout out Adam, Jalinda. We finally got some engagement. Yay, it's only almost been a year.
Nice.
And shout out Washington and Oregon, because they've been watching like crazy this week.
Hell yeah.
Listening, downloading, I don't know. And Colombia. Look, shout out Colombia, because somebody in Colombia listened to the Encanto episode 14 times.
Damn.
I get it.
I'm still mad I was not on that episode.
Hey.
Let me find out that's the best episode, because every podcast has just a episode everybody kind of draws to.
You want to know what it is?
What?
It's almost a 3-way tie. Like literally two downloads off. The most is I'm not going to say what it is because I'm a little embarrassed. But the most is Speed Racer.
Okay, that was.
And then that was the first episode though. So like when we went up, I know like Samsung, I don't know for sure, but they had to have like listed us or pushed us somehow, because we'd be getting a lot of listens from them. Also, we happened to post the Speed Racer episode right when like Alamo Draft House played it. So a whole bunch of people got introduced to Speed Racer for the first time, and then
one of the best anime movies ever made. Yeah.
So it was just like the timing was great, and then it was our first episode, so some of the platforms pushed us a little bit. So it really had some legs, even though it was our first episode and like the quality was bad and all that stuff. So there's that. And then tied with Speed Racer is They Clone Tyrone.
Really?
Yeah. Like
I'm happy about that.
Yeah. So those are our three, and they've been battling it out for months. So sometimes it's Speed Racer. Puss in Boots just went up maybe like 3 weeks ago. It's like I check the stats all the time. It's just funny to see. I forgot how we got here. Anyway,
we were talking about the states that the podcast were popular in. Yep.
Encanto was number 2 for a long time until we did Puss in Boots.
Still have to watch that.
It's a great movie.
Yeah,
I've heard nothing but good things about that.
Also, if you don't already but you listen, please like and subscribe and tell your friends and all that stuff. Seriously, our Spotify has like 2. And one rating was a 1. They hated
Oh,
us, and I was like,
damn.
dang. I mean, whatever.
Did they
But
leave any like feedback? Like, what could we do better?
It was probably because we hated the movie they liked or something.
I don't know. I can't remember. I would have remembered if they did.
We're
But
gonna blame it on racism, guys. It was racism.
I mean, it's possible. Like someone came across it and it was like brown kids. What about the white kids? And, yeah.
You know what? I actually had that conversation with somebody I told about the podcast. They were white. Why is it brown kids? Because we're brown. I don't. Just,
You're
y'all
not
don't have
supposed.
you don't have white people on the show.
Nah.
No.
We've
Look,
all got brown eyes. I mean, what are you talking about?
look. Part of the joke is we don't explain it.
Right.
In the podcast description, I don't explain it at all. I wanted a podcast where you would know our point of view, while at the same time you don't expect us to like solve racism or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like oh, like those are people of color that's their takes on these movies, but also like I don't expect anything out of them. You know,
Yeah.
and nothing against podcasts that are trying to like that actually have a purpose. Like shout out to them.
We just want to talk about movies.
Yeah,
Yes,
I like. I don't
yes.
want nothing on my shoulders other than
Talk
me
about
bullying
movies.
y'all into talking about movies. Because then, like, cause I don't want someone to be like, "Yo, Tifron said this, that, and the third," and it's like, bro, like,
Nope. We talk about
sometimes I'm an
movies.
idiot. Like, don't don't listen to me.
we talk about movies. That's it. That's it.
Look, I had a friend on Xbox back in the day. His name was Senseless Mike, and he always used to go, "Do you know why I named myself Senseless Mike?" And I was like, "Because your name is Michael." And he's like, "Well, yeah, but the senseless part comes because I don't want anybody to have to ask me why I did something." And I was like, "You know what? You're an idiot, but that's kind of smart.
I get it.
I never want to have to explain myself."
I get it.
So yeah. Anyway, how y'all feel about this movie? Oh wait. We about to spoil it. So go watch it on Hulu, please. Y'all don't have Hulu in Canada, so it might be Crackle, Disney Plus, something.
Disney Plus. It might be Disney Plus. Yeah.
Yeah. So go watch it. If you don't know where it's at, justwatch.com will tell you when you pick your region. All right, we about to spoil the movie. How y'all feel about it? Real quick. Don't not too much yet.
Okay. All right. I loved it.
Okay.
Okay.
You give a little bit more if you want.
No, don't leave it there.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Chris?
I enjoyed large parts of this movie. I think visually this movie was fantastic. I think the story had a lot of merit, and I just had issues with Joshua. That's it. Like that was my one criticism about the movie is how they handled Joshua.
I'm excited
See,
because that's not what I thought it was going to be.
That's what makes a great movie to me. If you can actually hate a character like they're a real person next to you, like an actual
Really?
coworker.
I didn't hate
That's
him.
what makes it. Well, I'm just saying when you have the actual real feelings
like a bone
towards.
to
pick. Like that's what heightens a movie to me because you care good or bad.
You didn't even say
enough.
you hated him, right?
No.
There's
something about him that you're just like, look, we got to talk about this.
Yes,
you got to have a come to Jesus moment with Joshua.
We need
See
to.
what I did there? Anyway, I loved it. And I will say, if you know me by now, some of my weaknesses are science fiction, kids doing hood rat shit with their friends. I got more, but those are the first two that popped in my head. But like, also, I realized across doing this podcast that father-child relationships get me too, because like I was a fan of 65.
Okay. Yeah.
So I like little bonding moments like that. So this one got like played to my weaknesses a bit because I love hard sci-fi, like just especially when you build this whole world. Oh my goodness, freaking Rebel Moon. That's what I had to try and like defend myself against Karreem and Jamel.
It was trash.
I still haven't watched it.
You said you didn't want to watch it, so I didn't even ask you.
I know, but
so I was like, oh, he already made his choice. Anyway, the creator, Baby Denzel. I loved it, but it also played to my weaknesses, so I understand I'm biased. So we'll get into it. So film starts out with the definition bump, Nirmata, which is Nepalese for the creator, the mysterious unknown architect of AI, a being worshipped by artificial intelligence as their creator, savior, God. Then we get an old-timey commercial for robotics and artificial intelligence and showing us simulants, which are AI robots made to look like humans. Then we see footage of a nuclear bomb blowing up in Los Angeles that the AI detonated. And as a result, AI was banned and most of the Western nations retaliated by starting a war to eradicate AI for the sake of humanity. However, the people of New Asia still support Allen Iverson and form the resistance. Now the military seeks to assassinate Nirmata, allegedly the chief architect behind the AI advancements, right?
Yes.
So I'm already excited. I remember the trailer, like I was like, Baby Denzel in another sci-fi. Oh my god! Like
I was the trailer got me, like it clicked all the boxes for me. It's just like the visuals were there. Like I
yeah.
love the way that the simulants looked, or the Sims looked. I was like that's a really cool look for a robot. You know, they've got the whole human face and they got the whole open look with the around the ears.
That was so cool.
I
That
love that.
because I went in not knowing what this movie was about. I just
Did you see it in
was.
theaters?
I saw walking by a poster for it, and I
Okay.
liked Baby Denzel, so I was like, okay.
Is this your first time seeing it?
I saw it twice, but yeah.
Okay.
I did go see it in theaters, so I was part of the 40 million that they made US. You know, you're welcome, guys. I went first day. I wasn't disappointed. Like I wanted
You
I
just
want more
left
of
like,
this
God damn
world.
it, Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua had.
You said you wanted more of the world?
Yeah, like it doesn't have to be this story, but that world was really interesting to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't think this on the first watch when I saw it in theaters, but watching it this time, I think there's a way that they can not like you said, not necessarily this story, but there's more stories that they can fit in this world.
Yeah,
and I guess that's like a mark of like good world building, right?
You gotta show the robots, right? Not rising up, but trying to
Not even
just
that.
be.
It doesn't even have to necessarily be like about the robots versus humans. Like just the fact that they dropped that there's moon colonies in the third act.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, huh. Well, they kind of did that in Blade Runner.
The one thing that I really was like I was confused about, and I really wanted them to expand on, is like the world politics, because it felt like the U.S. can go anywhere they wanted and just drop tactical nukes like without.
I see what you're saying. So it's the Western countries banded together to form. So it was like the West versus the East.
Yeah,
but it was clearly led by the U.S.
Yeah.
And like maybe the other countries are in this alliance, but they just kind of like let the US do what they want. Where the US just don't do what they want. Because it was I don't know if I wrote it down, but or maybe I'm about to get to it actually in this next part. North American Orbital Mobile Aerospace Defense.
That they just parked over like entire countries. Like, I'm sorry. Like if I was a country and that just started parking over me, like, we got an issue right now. You got to move that thing.
I mean,
I can see it.
Technically they were at war. It's like, we about to pull up, pull us, aircraft carrier up offshore.
The way I took it was that maybe like it was a UN almost type thing where the other countries like rule together. Like, okay, no, we all got to do something about this, and the US said, well, we have a plan. We just need your resources, and they just said, okay, yeah, go ahead, go do what you do.
But their plan was to use the same platform that nuked LA. Like that was their plan. Like the thing that nuked LA, they blamed on AI.
They were
like
totally
the thing they were using to police the planet.
They were totally nuking the planet. Now it's
yes, but it wasn't controlled by artificial intelligence. It was controlled by dumb humans.
Technically, it wasn't controlled by artificial intelligence when it shot the first nuke in LA.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, Nomad wasn't controlled with AI. But the first one, or whatever blew up
LA,
that was allegedly AI.
That I want to get back to later on, because there was a part in this movie that kind of like bring truth to power for me. But
okay,
yeah,
put a pin in that. Okay, so then the movie actually starts, and we see soldiers coming out of the water with assistance from Nomad, North American Orbital Mobile Aerospace Defense, from up above. And it's like this bitch in low orbit space station that can surveil and launch missiles against its adversary, whatever.
The Justice Tower.
It was. You said the Genesis Tower?
The Justice Tower.
Justice Tower? Yeah. What's that from?
Justice League. Is it the Justice Tower?
No, it's I forget what it's called now. But the Justice League's got a base in space. The Watchtower.
The Watchtower.
Watchtower.
I don't know why I said Justice Tower.
I got you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, something like that. I don't think the Watchtower had like.
Oh, it does. It does. It has a beam. It dropped down on Doomsday, one of the movies.
Oh, okay. Well, so something like that. So the military force launches a surprise attack on undercover Joshua Taylor, John David Washington, and his pregnant wife, Maya Fey, played by Gemma Chan. The resistance capture a soldier, and once they were alone, Taylor scolds him for attacking, but the guy says that they had orders to go after Nirmata. Like Taylor tells him Nirmata isn't there, and then he grabs his walkie and he says, "This is Sergeant Taylor. Call off the raid. Nirmata's not here." Just to turn around and see Maya standing there, right? So remember, he was undercover.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, homie told her that he was out of the military. Obviously, that's a lie. And then she pulls a gun on him and he tries to beg her to run away with him because they only want Nirmata, but she runs away. So Maya catches up with the resistance fighters taking off in boats, and Taylor tries to catch up, but by the time he gets to the beach, they already took off. And then he see Nomad's light focus in on him and launch a missile down, and a big ass explosion happens. And like he gets caught in the shockwave and everything.
The whole time he's trying to stop him. He's like, "No, chill."
Nah, ain't no Nirmata here. Nah.
Nobody's listening.
Nah. So, ouch. Wife gone. So, Nomad, though. The thing that bugs me about Nomad is you can't really tell the size.
I will say that I did think it was, I guess, smaller than they made it out to be at the beginning.
Because you'd see, they did show a shot of it in space and looking down. And then, but for when it's looking up from the ground up, it looks like it's way closer.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it is huge. It's giant.
It's
huge. Station. Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. But even if it's that big, it's so high up that it should still look like almost like not a shadow, but like a ghost in the sky. Because there's so much air between you and that it's hard to see, right?
Right.
But it was pretty clear to see. And then like the scale of the light versus how big it actually is versus the light that it shines down on the floor is like kind of off. So that was a bit wonky, but I'm not going to take Neil
deGrasse Tyson. We need Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I'm not going to take points off because of that. Like I don't want to be that nerd. So I'm not taking any points off.
A ruler to the screen. Wait a minute, this ain't
actually. So, yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone. But I'm only saying it to say that like it did throw me off sometimes because it was like, oh well, shit, where is it? Like, you know,
you don't find that's the third act. Like you kind of feel like it's just like something hovering in the air, and it's like, oh no, it's in space.
It's like you think that it's like less than a mile up,
right?
But then you realize the shit is like
in space.
Yeah,
it's just
like,
that big.
It's like 10 miles up.
Because I honestly thought it was like something they had on a military base on Earth somewhere, and it just came out when
right. Like they had to launch it at the time it was going out, but it was just always up there.
Yeah, which makes it really fucking ominous. Which so
right.
So that part's actually pretty cool. But like I didn't realize until the end of or the third act, the first time I watched it, and then like I really thought about it this time, like just how huge this thing is and just looming over you.
Yep.
Like and then watching people react to it too, like, oh shit, it's Nomad. Like it was Debo coming. So I get it. Like it's actually
it
really
also
scary.
made sense for the size of missiles it was dropping.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Like so that's when I was still trying to like conceptualize the size. When he was on the missile, I mean not getting ahead, but like the missiles are like the size of like blue whales.
Yeah.
Like they're huge. But again, it would leave Nomad and hit the ground in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
For it to be going that fast, Nomad to be that high, it would be breaking like Mach whatever.
Don't ask them questions.
Yeah. So
don't ask them questions.
Let me eject Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Ask the questions of how to get from Earth to space in 3 seconds.
Sci-fi. We figured out a way to do subsonic speeds now.
Neil, stop. God, cast him out. Don't come back, Neil. Once again, I did not take any points off for that. It just anytime something takes me out of it, I have to mention it.
It looked cool. I mean, like every time that thing showed up in a shot, it was just like it was ominous, but also like you're kind of awestruck. You're just like, man, that thing is just like
yeah. This time, like you said, awestruck. Like I was awestruck the first time, and then this time not only was I awestruck, but I was like, this is actually really fucking scary. Like so that's pretty cool.
You're just going to work and the government just decides to drop a bomb on you. You just see a spaceship up.
Yeah.
Like, what is?
It's like you minding your business. You're like, man, this is a great day. I'm just having everything's just going so right right now.
You see a blue light come from
It's
space. You like, what is this?
I mean, you gotta think too. Like it's orbiting the Earth, so like it's not stationary. Like it's constantly going to be over some country.
Yeah.
So like just like you don't want to be that country. Like it's just there, right? We're not being shot. It just
But that's
happened
the
to be
other
there.
I don't
thing.
want it
It's
sitting
like
there. This is
if it sits, that's even scarier because normally it would just be floating, right? Like it would be moving with the Earth or something like that. Like ISS zooms through the sky, zooms across the sky, right?
Yep.
This one, if it's sitting, that means it wants you. Like it's like, nah, I'm here to kill you. Anyway, enough about Nomad. So fast forward 5 years and we see Taylor working on a cleanup crew for Ground Zero. They still ain't cleaned this bitch up. Think about it. They already started the war.
It was like it was
you're
a
right.
nuclear
You're
bomb.
right.
Yeah.
So they had to wait for like the radiation die down a little bit. Okay, you're right.
There are steps. There are steps.
Get out, Neil. Get out. Good point. So and like we see him like he's still a wreck over Maya. And then one night the military shows up. And we're about to get to it. The military shows up, General Andrews and Colonel Howell. And like they try to convince Taylor to come back for one more raid because allegedly the robots built a weapon called Alpha O, and that could take out Nomad and turn the tide of the war, right? So, and supposedly it's in the same area that Taylor was undercover in, and they want him to come back to like because he's familiar with it, right?
But
Specifically that facility.
I also because they also show in that part where you actually see he's missing an arm and a leg.
Yeah,
that was the coolest robotic arm technology type. You know, that was I was like it's slick because when he puts it on, it looks like a regular leg or
just
arm.
the shoulder joint. Everything else is like an arm.
But they still put the I guess the gravity of not having your limbs with that.
Yeah.
Like, even though this is it's still tough for him to get it on and attach it.
Yeah.
And without it, he's still struggling. They usually don't show that in movies.
And then like I was just kind of like, man, it's really neat that they like got his skin tone right.
Right.
It's not just VFX.
They didn't cheat and just make it
it's not a Band-Aid colored
a metallic colored arm. No, it was actually him. I was like, okay, all right. We're learning.
So, but of course, Taylor don't want shit to do with them after they killed his wife, right? And he tries to walk away until they play a hologram video of Maya they obtained and says it was taken 2 days prior. And they promise that if he comes back to lead the raid, they'll bring Maya back, right? And they can be reunited. And like, my favorite quote from this scene is, I lost my wife that night, so I don't give a shit about them becoming extinct. I got TV to watch. That's real shit. He's like, get out my face.
My show's going to come on. You interrupted.
I guess now we could talk about, or do you want to wait till the end to talk about?
No, we could talk about Joshua now.
Okay.
Yeah, God, his character, he was so obsessed with his wife, and I was just like, man, she has not tried to reach out to you in like however many years it's been. I was like, she does not want to talk to you, but like he was like, I got to get back to my wife, and I was like, just because you didn't get served papers doesn't mean you're not divorced, man. Like after so many years of separation, like you're legal. Like if they had the movie where again, I don't want to. Well, I guess we can like. If we didn't get to the ending we got to, like, and she was dating somebody else, she would have been in her right to do so.
Here's the thing. Go ahead, Karreem.
My thing is, what did he expect at this point?
Okay, wait. Okay.
Well,
are you done? I'm sorry. Are you done?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you got to remember, the final moment with her is betrayal.
Yep.
And then she dies. At least in his head, he got his wife killed. It's not hope that they can get back together kind of deal. Or to a point, yes, but it's mostly he got his wife killed. His pregnant wife
and child.
Killed.
Yeah.
And he hasn't forgiven himself for that.
Okay.
And he can't forgive himself until he makes it right. So now here they are. And he's kind of like just in the like it's apathy now, right? He don't care.
Yeah.
Like he's just moving through the motions. Like he's not gonna kill himself, but also like nothing matters because he killed his family, right? So he on some Itachi shit. Like he's not really, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he hates himself. And there's no way he can absolve himself of this until now with them like, oh, she's alive. And he's like, oh shit. Now I have a chance. Like, I'm sure he didn't think he could go back in and be like, hey babe, I'm here, and then everything's all hunky-dory, yada yada yada. But at least now there's a chance like he can make things right. And like now he has hope. And before it was just, just depression. Now he has hope. And it's like, this is all he has. Because before he didn't care about anything because he fucked up that bad.
So now if we could just get back, I could just see her, it'll be fixed.
So yeah, like it plays like he just loves her that much. And it's like, oh, like I need to get back with this woman. But it's more to it than that. It's like, this is the only meaning his life could have now because he fucked up so bad. And now there's a chance that he might be able to fix it. And then eventually, as like the story unfolds, then he kind of realizes how he has to fix it, right? So that's me defending Baby Denzel. I'm sorry, Joshua Taylor. Side note: Joshua means to save.
I'll accept that answer, but like even the second time I watched the movie, like like I didn't take that, and it just came off very like simpish, and it was just like, man, like,
hey man,
that's
Gemma Chan.
I mean, it was simpish, but it was the right simpish to me because to him she died, and now you put her back in front of his face again.
This isn't me attacking you, Chris, but I forgot who. But at some point we had the conversation about people making fun of men, calling them simps, and it's like, but that's that nigga wife. I can't remember who it was, and I'm not sure if it was on this podcast or the anime podcast, but I remember that being the funniest shit ever. That's all I got.
Okay.
I think it was the anime part. I don't remember if it was this, but yeah.
I feel like Simps and anime kind of go hand in hand depending on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not even depending on the genre. That transcends. Like anyway, yeah. That's a whole different podcast. But yeah. So back to this. Oh yeah, he got TV to watch. So it cuts to a strike team about to be dropped off, and we see Taylor is with them, right? And Colonel Howell, Allison Janney, she explains that none of the local humans, robots, or siblings fuck with them, so they better not get caught because it's a wrap if they do. And like we get a sense of the team too. It's like typical brutish American soldiers, right? You know, I don't want to say generic soldiers, but generic movie soldiers.
Yeah,
it's like they try to make them meatheads.
Yeah. I couldn't think of the word. I kept wanting to say jarheads, but that's Pacific Marines.
Right.
I didn't want to piss off Jamel, but like,
those guys had a few hate crimes under their belt. Just saying.
Yeah. You're just like, they just want to get in and kill stuff. Yeah, like that. Honestly, some are like that, but not all.
Well, I'm sorry. Like once they started threatening the dog, we had an issue. Like I was like, "Where's John Wick?"
But no, they did a great job of making these military. These are the villains. That's pretty much what.
Oh yeah,
these are the villains. There's no question.
So like that's one of the themes of the movie is American imperialism, right?
Yep.
And like, so they didn't really hold a lot of punches when it came to that.
No. And I was weak how Josh was side-eyeing them the whole time.
The whole time. And he got his dad's side-eye too, so he'd be over there like...
I was weak the whole time. I said he don't like none of y'all.
None of he was like, how long till I could turn on you guys? I don't want. I just want to get my wife and get the hell out of here.
For my wife.
Speaking of that, it didn't take long, right? Like so, like
not at all.
So yeah, the soldiers, and then we find out that Howell lost both her sons to the war, and one of them was even tricked by a simulant into falling for her just so that they can like set him up and kill him. Which we don't know is.
I want to know more about that because like that doesn't make sense because again, the Sims were not able to kill people.
Right. Well, you know what? I was going to ask that. Do you think she was lying about that?
They could kill. They could kill people. They didn't want to kill people. Yeah. They only kill out of self-defense kind of deal.
Right.
Well, and then she's shown that she's not entirely trustworthy with how she does things.
I believe that she thinks this is true.
Yeah.
Okay.
But who knows if that's the actual story?
But
Or
I will
maybe
say that
she made that up.
her performance was absolutely like I believe that she was a psychopath that just wanted to
She was
man.
great. She was
She
great.
like there were a few scenes where like or there was one scene in particular where they're talking to one of the Sims and like she's like just like, oh yeah, no, everything's gonna be okay, we gotta catch up with
Oh yeah,
everybody,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, when they were
and then just
yeah.
yeah.
pop.
Like, and the dude was trying to fix her
Right.
because it looked like he was operating on her, or at least putting her back together.
Yep.
And then she was just, all right, bye. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
So who's to say? But she definitely ain't messing with no robots, right? So we'll get back to her.
Yes.
But yeah, so once they land, Taylor tells them it looks like the village was built up on top of the entrance. So then they have to try and figure out how to get in. Like that's when you get like them messing with the dog and stuff. And so like they're fucking with the villagers, but Taylor figures out how to get in. Like he remembers like, oh, or I don't know if he remembers or if he figures it out, but he turns the statue and the door opens. Like in a video game.
Initiate Zelda noise.
And when they're messing with the villagers, one of them like fusses at him, and she says, "Those things down below, they have bigger hearts. You can't beat AI. It is evolution." But she says that in like Vietnamese.
Yeah, they didn't understand anything anybody was saying.
Yeah, and dude's looking at her like, mm-hmm.
In that scene, I felt for the little girl that whole time.
Yeah,
she's one of her dogs. She just give them what they want. I want my dog. I want my dog.
I was already anti-America. I was like, whatever's happening right now, I'm not a fan of this.
So the soldiers start shooting up folks when they get into the facility, and like Taylor finds someone on the security camera feed that looks like Maya, and all while the topside local authorities are like pulling up, right? And like they have one soldier up there in like a little mech thing. Really, it's a little bobcat that they added like arms to, like Thunder Tank arms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that raises the urgency, right? Like they need to get in and get out. And like one scientist scientist yells at him, and then like the translator translates it, and it's like, please make love to yourself and also make love to your mother.
That was the best translator I've ever seen in a movie. Please make love to yourself.
And also make love to your mother.
And like the soldiers start getting taken out. So Taylor and the dude whose job it was to like hack open the vault door to Alpha O, they're waiting for the hack to finish. But then the other dude, like he's like, look, I'll be right back. Don't go in there without me, because he like runs back to go help his friends or whatever. But of course the door opens and Taylor's like, I'm going in. And inside, all he finds is a child simulant, which isn't really a thing, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just adults that are simulants.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, like, cause I mean, it does make sense.
No, if they were made for labor, nobody's going to make a child to do labor.
Yeah.
And then Taylor gets shot by who, like, he thought was Maya, but it was just a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the scientist orders the child to leave and go find their mother while Taylor is down for a minute because he had a bulletproof vest on. That
part annoys me because, like, the scientist, instead of, like, trying to take the child to Namada, just tells the child to go to Namada and then runs off. And I'm like, what kind of backup plan is this?
Save yourself while I save myself. That's what it was.
I don't think she was trying to save herself.
No,
I think she's like, nah, I'm gonna go back and fight.
Yeah,
like,
that's
she did grab a weapon.
So here's a question.
Yeah.
How much you gotta make per hour for you to be that scientist? Like, well, to be fair, actually, no, I take that back. It's not about money for them.
No.
Yeah.
They love AI at this point.
They recognize that like she's the big deal.
This is evolution. Real relationships to them.
So I get it. I think it was like, I'm gonna buy you some time.
But to the same point, like I'd be like, let me get you out of here instead of just like, I'm gonna buy you time.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's true. Like I'm leaving. I'm still keep my gun, but I'm leaving with you.
One thing I also liked about just, I guess, in general with the movie, how low tech the military was compared to the AI, because none of their equipment had AI in it except for that one thing towards the end. Because the translators low tech, they had like regular guns. Everything was manual control.
They're scared, bro.
They said never again.
What are we talking about in the beginning? They fuck around and get a Amazon Alexa and it blows up the
never again.
Look. But yeah, So the soldiers scramble to get out the facility and make it back to the ship because Nomad blows the place up. And Taylor makes it out in time to see the ship take off, but it's blown up because of a bomb that had landed and lashed onto the back of one of the soldiers that made it in time. That was pretty funny. Because you saw the thing like, and then it like land on her, like land behind her, and then nothing happened. And you're like, oh, okay. And she gets up there, turns her back, and the shit is on her back.
I thought they were going to throw her out the plane.
I thought so too, but they tried
That
to
would
get
have been
it
a
off.
smart move. Like I don't understand. Like homeboy, like hopped behind her and held her, and I was like, bro, this isn't like a live grenade on the ground. Like you got an entire helicopter full of people. Why are you trying?
I think they just don't know. They've never seen it before.
Maybe.
So like maybe he was just like, okay, I'll die. But like, like kind of hopping on top of the, like you said, hopping on top of the grenade to save everybody else. But that was a boom. It was a big boom.
And with them, it is very much humans united against.
Yeah.
So they're very much.
And also, they've probably been together however long, so they didn't even think to not save her.
True.
They automatically went to let's get this bomb off instead of let's get her off the plane. Because
I would have booted her off.
I already know. I already know, Karreem. As soon as you saw that Sparta, like off. Oh shit! She got a bomb.
You let her on the plane? Nope.
Look, but yeah. So it was like, and it all happened like 3 seconds anyway. It was like, oh shit! She got a bomb. Yeah. And it was funny, like the face John David made where he saw the plane explode was like, damn.
Because it was. You say, oh, snap.
Like he didn't say it, but I felt it. I felt it on like the Black Spirit line, like the damn. Like, oh man. Oh yeah. So rest in peace.
No, you know what? The puppy guy was in there. No, he wasn't. Damn it.
No, he wasn't. Him and there's like 4 of them that didn't make it, or wasn't on the ship.
Right.
Actually, I could never tell if Howell was on the ship or not, and she survived. Like if she was in the front or something. But because she looked a little roughed up when we saw her later. Yeah. But I don't know where she
was. She ran off. She said, "If I'm not back in 5 minutes, then leave without me."
Okay.
So that's why she was hoofing it like on foot the entire time.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody else got taken out though. And then Nomad's missile hits, right? And we see Taylor get caught in yet another shockwave. and the child was also hit by the shockwave, but she didn't even budge, which was cool. I mean, logically, whatever, but that was cool because like it was immediately after you see the shockwave hit Taylor and he gets swallowed up. And then it cuts to her and you see like the wind just blow by. And she's just like, she's just chilling.
What's going on here? What are y'all doing?
Yeah. So next, Taylor wakes up to the semblant child staring at him, right? And he tries to chase her off, but he ends up investigating some sounds that he heard, or it sounded like radio chatter, right? But that's one of my favorite lines is, go, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. Get out of my face, weirdo.
He's just going off with this little kid.
Yeah, he throws a rock at her, and then she throws a rock back. And the look on his face, I know that look. That's the dad look like where you like.
I know you didn't. I know you just didn't do that.
And watching it a second time, knowing the reveal is funny because from the jump. It's the father-child relationship because that look, I give my son that look all the like. It was so funny, but yeah, and there's a whole bunch of little things like that along the way, which I absolutely love. So yeah, so he finds one of the soldiers, Shipley, and he finds a house to hide in to avoid the New Asia cops, and then all of a sudden,
robots.
Yeah, this set. They have humans and robots and simulants.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this set are just robots. It's funny they made the robots. These robots look like I forgot what type of hats those are.
Yeah,
You
I
know what
never
I mean?
understood, like, some Sims look like people and other Sims are just
Well,
robots.
no, they're not all Sim. Only the Sims are only the ones with human faces.
No, but that's not true though, because again, when part of the resistance, there was that other guy that had like the robot face, but like, again, like he was like fully capable of like of free thought. At one point, he was watching robot girls twerking. I mean, that was a
I
thing in the
think,
movie.
but I think like that's the difference is the face. But I mean, there's probably
Okay,
more.
sure.
But when they say robots, it's like the metal face versus the
Okay,
human face,
okay,
even though they're all sentient.
yeah,
Because
okay.
even like
So Sims
yeah,
like simulating people, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
robots are just robots with AI.
yeah,
Got
and
it.
like they can, yeah, they're all AI.
Yeah.
But then you have the Sims and the robots, and like the robots came in different forms too.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Yeah.
yeah, but Sims are specifically the with the
because
face.
they're like people. No two robots are alike.
No, they were definitely, because they had that whole thing where you could donate your
Donate
face
face.
to it. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
It's okay.
Oh, and then and then there was the cop that died, and then the same cop.
Came back. So I know that dude played 3 characters. I
Oh,
don't know who. Obviously, he played 2 Sims. I
yeah.
don't know who the third one was. But yeah, what was his name? Now I'm gonna fuck up and lose my spot.
Wait, so he was the
Amar Chadha Patel. He had
Mhm.
3 characters under his
he
name.
was detective cop. I call detective
He
cop
was
because
he
Yeah,
was he he was the
he
cop. He was the
was
arresting
he's
cop.
Paddy Wagon Cop,
paddy
Mhm.
wagon
Detective Cop,
cop.
and something else.
Was he the cop? He was dead cop. He was already dead
Yes.
when that next
He
part.
he came to figure out who killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the third one is a robot, and he doesn't have a face.
I think it was the robot, the second robot to Ken Watanabe's Harun.
I got you.
Yeah, I think that's who he voiced.
Okay, yeah. The one that was watching the tour. Is that
Yeah.
who? He had a really neat part. His death scene was really nice
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's like they targeted him and they launched the missiles at him, and he was running for cover, and then his
I
cover
love that.
had
Yeah.
children in it, and he was like,
Nope.
nope.
And he ran back the other way.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to that though, but
Yeah.
so like they get inside this house, and suddenly the kid's in there with them, and she cuts on the TV without touching anything. And like that's the first time we see her use her powers. And then Colonel Howell calls over the radio, and like Taylor quickly catches her up, and she's like, "Kill the child." But then she gets scooped up by the cops, and like in the, I call it the paddy wagon, the futuristic paddy wagon, is another soldier, McBride, who survived too, and she's like, "Tough day at the office."
That was the puppy threatener. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he gets his.
Hmm.
So then the owner of the house comes back, and like he's amazed at the sight of the child simulant. Sorry, I was about to say replicant, simulant. But it's short lived because he sees Taylor eyeing the gun on the floor, and like they both go for their guns, and the
Oh no,
simulant
he
gets
says
shot.
he says I'm gonna kill the American. The translator picks it up, and then they both start eyeing the guns.
So I'm wondering, like, do they simulate the simulate sense that the child is special, or
It's I mean it's
or
a
the
child.
fact that
It's a
it's a
child. Like
child?
it's the fact that
They've never seen it before.
right.
Yeah, there's
They're
no.
always adults. So
Because
Yeah.
to me, everybody's reaction was like you're almost a deity type reaction.
Yes, but that comes later on in the movie.
yes.
Okay.
So like
Okay.
you only see so at first only the folks inside the facility knows, but
Hmm.
like I guess word got out after all that
Yeah.
what was happening. And so everybody starts not everybody,
Hmm.
but eventually like but by the time like we actually see the resistance again, they're all in the know. It's like, "Oh, the savior is here." But yeah, so the noise alert the robot cops outside, and like Taylor grabs Shipley and drags him into the dead simulant's truck, and then he tries to convince the kid to get in the truck too. This shit is funny.
Hmm.
Okay, come on, little Sim, get in the car. Hey, it'll be fun. Like cartoons, it'll be fun. Okay, it's a game, hide and seek, and I'll drive fast. All right, let's go. Come on. This is hella fun. Why don't you want to get in the car? It's a lot of fun. Get in the damn car. Oh my!
That is a grown man that don't know how to talk to children.
Look,
He was,
he
And
was trying to hold it together, but he wasn't. He just,
Oh, also, this was the first time. So when he killed the farm owner, it was the first time Alfie dealt with death.
Yeah.
Because like he just says, I just turn him off. He's just
Just
off.
turn them off. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up because
Mhm.
that like happens, continues to happen. So then the robot cops toss a grenade in with them, but there's a dog. The dog picks it up and carries it back out like fetch, and kaboom! All the robot cops get blown up. So the
They're not
child
even
turns.
fully destroyed.
Yes, they're still like they lost like their arms and heads and shit. They're half walking around.
Mhm.
And so, like, the child turns the truck on because it's a Tesla, and they take off. Seatbelts. Like I said, all these little dad jokes. So then they pull over to try and figure things out. Did they pull over or did the truck die?
I
Truck
think
died.
it
Truck died.
dies.
Okay.
Yeah.
To try and figure things out. And like Shipley comes to, but then he passes away. And
He gets turned off.
oh yeah, off. And then Taylor's like, "All right, what do they call you? What's your name? What's your name, little Sim?
What's your favorite thing?
What do they call you? What do you like?" And she goes, "Candy." And he's like, "Hell no, pick something else." And
That's taken. It's
he makes
somewhere in Vegas.
he makes a joke about a stripper in Vegas. Well, he doesn't say stripper, but
Yeah.
she's in Vegas. She got a residency.
Yeah.
But it's the speed at which he goes, "Hell no, pick something else." And Taylor puts a hat on the kid and names her Alfie after the Alpha Omega symbols on the side of her head, right?
Mhm.
And they hitch a ride on a bus filled with kids that was
Mhm.
driving by.
Involving those little kids and kidnapping and murder.
I kinda wish they had shown that scene because, like, I didn't it felt like when they got to the checkpoint that, like, the family was aware that they were, like, again, harboring.
A fugitive.
Yeah. And, like, did he hold the entire family at gunpoint, or
Like
did they volunteer to try to get him through? It didn't.
at one point did it turn from helping to hostage.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
Mhm.
I think they were cool until the checkpoint. And it
Okay.
was the checkpoint is what made them be like, "Oh, we're in trouble." Because they're focusing in on Alfie real hard.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if there was a news broadcast on the radio, if they just heard him talking.
There were already posters, like, with their faces. So, like, at the
Yeah,
checkpoint, they had a picture of Joshua,
that's right.
which is one of those things too. I mean, like, it's gotta be hard to hide a black man in an Asian country
Right.
because, I was just like, you stick out like a sore thumb. Like, no matter what you do, you can't blend into any crowds there. So, I was just like, how did nobody find him faster?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he went from the rice paddy field to
Mhm.
the house to the truck to the bus.
Yeah.
But once after this part, then
Yeah.
he's out there. I mean, he had his hood on. That's what it was. He had the good old
He
disguise.
was doing a lot of back roads too.
I guess.
But so then hours later, Howell and the surviving soldier McBride, that's the dog dude, who commandeered a paddy wagon that they got scooped up in, and in the process killed the one simulant cop. They find the truck and Shipley's dead body, and like they use a device to transfer Shipley's final memories into the dead simulant to find out Taylor has the weapon and has a friend. Or before they ran out of time, and the simulant goes cold again.
And I've never seen anything like that before in sci-fi
That was
movies.
pretty neat.
And it also showed how cold and
How cool, yeah.
cruel what's her face was.
Because he comes back, or like there was like, look, he's been dead for 4 hours.
Mhm.
We can't get much, and so she was like, maybe we got like 30 seconds, and he comes back and he's like freaking out, and she's like, look, hey man, you're dead already. I'm sorry you're dead, but just tell me what Taylor's doing. And he's like, I just want to talk to my wife. Hey, shut up! Just tell me what Taylor's doing. That was rough.
No concern for him.
Hey man, but dude acted his ass off, like the fear on his face, playing
That was real.
a man that just came back from the dead.
Yeah.
That was a good scene.
It's gotta be messed up though to just, all of a sudden, like, go from being dead to just like, where am I?
Yeah,
Like
Wait, wake up.
he looked over, saw his dead body.
Right.
yeah. That man, look, because you probably already kind of knew like something ain't right, and then you see yourself laying next to you dead.
Yeah.
So then we see the bus Taylor and Alfie are in get stopped at a checkpoint, and when the guards are about to discover Alfie, she causes a blackout, and Taylor drives the bus through the checkpoint. Or did he make the dude drive the bus? Whatever. And thank goodness the bus was bulletproof because they were shooting the hell out of it with all them kids in there. Anyone have fun?
Kids were happy.
Well, a kid was happy. Then we see Hal and McBride hear about the possible missing child blowing through the checkpoint, right? And over the police radio, because they have a police car, and they spin around and head in that direction. And then we see a Simlant cop that looks like the dead Simlant Howell used to talk to Chipley that we were just talking about. And like immediately after that, we see the advertisement for donating your likeness to be used as simulants in order to support AI. So like that's how we know, they can be multiple copies of simulants.
Based on one person.
And also that's how they get real people faces.
Yep.
And then we get the part with Taylor talking to Alfie, and he's like, "Want to play a game? It's called Save Your Friend Joshua from Getting Killed by the freaking police." Right? And she's like,
also love
"You're my friend."
Well, I want to jump back because when Alfie got her name, Alfie asked for Joshua's name, and it says, "None of your damn business.
None of your damn business.
You don't need to know that. None of your damn business." So this is the first time she finds out his name is Joshua,
and she's happy.
Yep.
Her face lit up.
She did.
She was a good little child actress, man. Like when she
was
smiled,
fantastic.
Yeah, every time she smiled, I was like, "Aw." And then when she cried, look.
Yep.
Look, I didn't cry in the theater, but the second time I was in my feels. Like I teared up 3 times this time, and I was like, "Damn!"
Those scenes was hard up there. It was.
One of the facts that they said that is that Gareth Edwards waited till the last day to shoot a lot of the emotional scenes because he wanted and he wanted the bond to be built between
I knew exactly what it was when you said it.
Yeah, and I was like that's so smart, and like because she's a young actress.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, I see that, and like that really came through in the performances. But yeah.
Oh, that's also a little rough. Like now you're friends with John David, and you about to leave it forever. Get on screen and go cry. Ooh.
All right.
Yeah, no, but that's. I mean, it worked.
It did.
I like hearing about them little tricks directors be pulling on the actors to pull stuff out. That's why I said like a good director can make a good actor. It takes 2, but sometimes a director could really pull something out of like
an actor. Yeah, like performance. Like they need something out of performance, and they're just like, I really need this out of the performance. Like, I need you to give me this
to get the actor to get to that next level.
Yeah.
Without torture or harming the actor.
I need real tears.
Like, I'm gonna go mess it for you. But so we get some father-daughter bonding, and then a flashback of when Taylor got the orders from his old commander, Drew, to befriend Maya so he can place a tracker in the form of a ring on her. I get it, but what I'm saying is that's bold. It's like, oh man, hey man, I know you could bag her.
That was the thing too, because like that was how they started the whole thing. Like they gave him a ring to give to her, and I'm like, I was like, they haven't met yet, and like you're just like, yeah, go propose to her, and like just have her put this.
She could be into robots. You don't know, like. But yeah, I was laughing to myself thinking that this time I was like, dang, that's real presumptuous. But yeah,
they could have used AI to find the person that she was most likely to be attracted to.
True. They said, "Hey, Chat GPT, what is Gemma Chan's type?"
Because if you think about it, there's nothing remarkable about him to pick him solely for this mission, other than might be her type.
You're not wrong. But yeah, so they then in the present they arrive at Drew's spot, right? And now he's an AI technician with a simulant girlfriend, which is funny because in the flashback he was like, "Hey man, don't go native on me," because he already saw that Joshua was like, "Damn, she pretty." So that's funny that now he has a robot girl, and like Drew analyzes Alfie, and like he's able to figure out after just looking at her ears that she has abilities that's going to continue to grow, and eventually she'll be able to control all technology remotely.
I think what he also alluded to is the fact that I think she was actually like she would grow up, like she wasn't going to stay like a kid sim forever. She had the ability to actually like grow into an adult.
Yeah, they don't show you that until later because he just kind of says it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hit you until that scene later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. They do like mention it now. Huh. But then it's wild that he got that just from looking inside her ear hole.
Right.
And then like his girlfriend, who I think is she's like a Vietnamese singer. And
I think
they put her, I mean, I don't know her, but the website said she's a Vietnamese singer. So you know how they
she
like
was great in that scene.
Slide a rapper into a movie or something? It's
Mhm.
like that. Man, she was. And she's like, tell me about Joshua, Alfie. And then Alfie's like, he's funny. We play a game called Save Your Friend Joshua from Being Killed by the Fucking Police. Side note, I'm mentioning this because it made me laugh. When Joshua says the line, he says friggin', but like the way he says it real fast, so you might not catch that he said friggin' and not fucking.
Mhm.
But Alfie says fucking. So it's funny because it's PG-13, so that means they got one F-bomb and they were like, let's give it to the kid. And like this would be when they could do it. So then the apartment gets raided by the cops when one pretends to be a DoorDash guy dropping off some ice cream, right? And like Joshua shoots their way out. I didn't mention that the girlfriend got blowed up.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Somebody pointed something out, and I agree. If this is supposed to be the police, you wouldn't use like lethal ordinance to try to like if you're trying to rescue like a kidnap victim.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they put like a live grenade in that bag and not like some kind of flashbang or something to disorient.
He didn't know that like she wasn't going to immediately go next to the kid, and
it's ice cream, man.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing I could think is that they weren't trying to rescue the kid yet.
Okay.
And the cops, I don't know. Because, well, the cops, because they were looking for, they knew that it was a black dude traveling with a kid.
Yeah, but if you're trying to save the kid, you're trying to save the kid. Like you don't use lethal ordinance to try to save a kid.
But were they trying to save the kid?
They didn't go into that.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of messed up. I don't want to talk about it, like, but
now what was it?
I don't know if they were trying to save the kid.
The only thing
it felt like they were, or maybe just trying to collect the kid. Maybe.
The only thing I can think is maybe the military might have gotten to him. They might kind of work with the military to shoot, kill. Maybe.
But the military also killed a bunch of police officers.
That's true.
Yeah, and especially that the upcoming scene.
I don't know if did they know that the kid was a simulant?
They had to, because like the picture that they showed, the picture they showed was the kid was without the hat, and so it showed the simulant head. So
so I mean, I'm not defending it. It was
They also, that's the reason why the when they were pulled at the stop, they kept asking the kid to take the hat off.
Take the hat off. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, that is
yeah.
Hey man, American Pie. I'll mess with you. There's a couple wonky things. I'll give them that. This was wonk. That's probably not the best. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're with Drew, Josh, and Alfie, and Drew's driving them to where the tracker is leading them, which they're still trying to track the ring that he gave Maya, and it leads them out to the old beach house from the beginning of the movie where the raid happened,
where she took off the ring because she divorced him because he turned on her.
They don't show it, so it's possible she just had it off, but still, like right now I don't have my wedding ring on. I take it off in the house because ain't nobody judging me.
Better cut that from the podcast.
She knows.
Okay. No evidence.
Every other week I'm like, hey man, did you see my wedding ring? And she's like, every other week, hey, you see my? I wash my hands and I like take it off. One time I couldn't find it for a month. You know where it was? It was on top of a Pikachu's ear. It was a stuffed Pikachu that we have in our credenza. Two stuffed Pikachus in a wedding dress and a tux, right? And I stuck it on. I washed because it's next to the bathroom, and like I don't like the feeling of like the water under my ring. Yeah. So I always like take it off to like let my finger dry, or sometimes I put it on a different finger and I slide it back. But for whatever reason, I put it on a Pikachu's ear and forgot about it. A month goes by, I can't find my wedding ring. Eventually, I'm like, yo, here's my ring on Pikachu's ear. Anyway,
Pikachu got
it. She's used to it. But after Josh heads in, Alfie's wheels start turning, and she tells Drew that her friends are coming, and like he sees aircrafts approaching, right? And he runs out to get Drew. Side note, Why do they have on spacesuits?
Radiation again. So they dropped the tactical nuke in the location.
So that was a nuke that
Yeah, they
took them
keep.
out in the
I
beginning?
don't know why. Like this, like we haven't used a nuke in the longest time, but for some reason in this story in this timeline, they're just like, yeah, we just drop nukes everywhere.
Yeah, apparently.
They
They got
just
plenty of them.
tactical
they
nuke
really
everything.
hate robots.
No regular missile. Just
Right.
everything's a nuke. No chance everything being surprised.
Gotcha. I said spacesuits. All right, so Drew runs to go get Josh, but the ships open fire, and like Drew gets fatally wounded, but not before confessing to Josh that the raid that killed Maya was sprung immediately after they got intel that Maya's father wasn't Ramada, it was Maya herself.
Can we just point out the fact that Joshua just continues to get people killed throughout this entire movie?
Yeah. Could you imagine being Drew? Oh, you just minding your business. Old friend pops up talking about a pyramid scheme. Next thing you know, you waking up dead.
And he just keeps helping them.
I mean,
he lost his
girlfriend. He got no choice now.
He lost
a fugitive
his girlfriend.
Too.
Like I mean,
but we gotta talk about it. I'm at least cuss you out.
You probably was cussing about that whole trip.
I didn't know this, but I just saw that Drew was played by Sturgill Simpson.
Yeah.
I think he's a country singer. Like he had like an animated music video, like an anime music video on Netflix.
You said a country singer with an anime music video?
Let's see. Sound and Fury, an anime visual album.
A country singer with an anime visual album. Interesting. That's how they get you, Karreem.
I see.
Stay safe in these streets.
Look. I already had to be Googling.
You already want to think about it. That's funny.
Suck me right on in. I ain't even have a chance.
Okay, while you watch that, I'm gonna keep it moving. So then the Resistance lands and like they scoop up Alfie and Josh, right? And aboard the Resistance craft, Josh wakes up in a cell to see a simulant Harun Ken Watanabe. He's cool. His little armor looks like a samurai, and he was in Last Samurai. He questions him about the child and tells him that after her father died, Maya became the next Nirmata, and she created the child with the power to stop all weapons in secret while she was with Joshua. I was like, well, that shit's wild. Like, she built a whole god robot just
under your nose.
And you didn't. That's how. I can understand that. I don't know what my wife is doing right now.
Further adds to Josh not being any kind of special soldier.
So my thing too, my question now is that was she developing this child while she was pregnant?
Yeah,
or did this all happen? Did this all happen after the whole incident where the bomb goes off?
No, it was while they were pregnant. Like they showed the flashback. She had the belly and she was like building it, I guess.
Okay.
It was really fast, but because I didn't catch that my first watch. But the second time I was like, oh, there's a quick flashback.
That she gave the robot or the sim her child's face.
I don't know about face.
It's DNA.
But like they didn't really get into what it was. They said it was scanned in utero and genetic code was passed on to put into the simulant.
To Alfie.
But she made the first human AI hybrid.
Yeah, so that's what I think. Like, I think she needed baby DNA since it grows.
Right, that's the whole growing part. So like that's why Alfie's supposed to get stronger as she grows.
Yeah. So like they don't really get into it.
I wish they did. Like, did she do it because she lost her baby, or they?
Well, no. It was before she lost the baby. She was building something that could stop the war, not just stop the war, but like stop weapons. So like she controls technology. The bad guys use technology in their big weapons, so she could just destroy the weapons. No more weapons. We're not gonna keep fighting if we just keep we just got this god robot that can eventually control all technology in the world. Eventually you're just gonna give up, right? Like, what, you gonna come to Asia and throw stones at me? Like, so I get it, but she was doing it in secret because part of me was like, she didn't trust this nigga. Like, she was like, "Oh, you ex-military?"
And he is no kind of detective.
Nah. I guarantee you he was downstairs playing Xbox.
Where you been for 14 hours?
Right. Look, he was on Call of Duty, and she was like, just the way he be talking on Call of Duty, she didn't trust him. And then she'd go into her little basement workshop and build the baby. Whole time he didn't know.
Not even looking away from the TV.
I mean, we already he's already like that's his character now, right? Like, if it's not something he loves, then it's TV.
Hey, Kareem, he was watching Friends.
Lord. He had to finish it. He
was really invested. But yeah, so Harun fills him in on all of this, right? And he also tells him that the nuke that went off in Los Angeles was a human coding error, but America blamed it on AI.
So this is the part. This is the part of the movie that like really stuck with me. So my job, I'm a QA engineer for a software company, and I can tell you of the first. God.
So like you the one that like check the robots, see if they
we check to make sure the software is doing what it's supposed to do. So like
blow up.
Exactly.
So if it does blow up,
that means so what happens with companies a lot of the times, what they want to do is they want to cut corners, and they usually cut corners in quality. And so this rang true with me. Like it sounds so much like this sounds so plausible. I was like, yeah, no, I can absolutely see this happening as a coding error because somebody didn't want to pay for somebody to spend a few hours going over the code to make sure everything's working properly.
Tesla wanted this out in Q4, not next year. They wanted this out for Christmas.
Funny.
And so another caveat. So this came out this week, but there is I think it's an accounting software called, or the company's name is Fujitsu. They've got accounting software, and so what happened was that there was a bug where it wasn't reporting properly. And what happened was Fujitsu was like, it's not us. Like people are stealing from I guess it's the British Post Office. So about 900 post office operators were convicted between 1999 and 2015 on the basis of shortages falsely recorded on the Horizon IT system, which said repeatedly by the organization,
out of court
to be unimpeachable. So they had people convicted from 1999 to 2015, basically saying that it's not our fault. People are stealing from you.
Oh, the level of lawsuit!
Oh my God!
Ooh.
Again, so this is why when
companies are gonna die when when they come out of jail and they get them lawsuits hit, them companies are gonna fold.
Yep.
Oh man.
But this is that's why I was like, this is completely plausible. Like I can see this happening. Like, we don't spend the extra time we need to just to make sure everything's working proper. We're just like, no,
we are not.
It's good to go. Let's go and put Nomad up in the sky. Nothing can possibly go wrong.
Look,
what could go wrong?
How you got to roll back code in the AI? You can't. It's already out.
No. And that was the problem. It wasn't AI. It was just bad code. Like it had nothing to do with AI. AI was blamed for it.
Because I mean, for like if we
did it.
said, they say, well, we'll just roll back the code. It's already out. It's already out. It's not
as easy as it sounds.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they do it at my job. They put out some new code that's barely been tested for 3 minutes, and then the next morning find out it's not working. Everything on the website is 2 cents. Roll it back.
We got close to like releasing some bad software, and we caught bugs, and we were just like, hey, we can't go live with this. Like this, and again, that's my job. Like our job is to make sure that we don't introduce new bugs. There are existing bugs that we're aware of, but like we don't want to put new bugs into production.
And companies are not gonna stop putting some new stuff out because the old stuff ain't working right.
That's scary.
They're gonna put it on top of the old broken stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, and so Harun, he says, do you know what would happen to the West when we win this war? Side note, when we win, what happened to the West when we win this war? Nothing. We only want to live in peace. And like that shit hurts. I was like, oh. So Josh begs Harun to see Maya one last time, right? But he's like, that's what they want, you fool. They're following you to get to her. I will never take you to Namada. It's funny because he just lays it out like, I figured this shit out by now, right? Like that's how they keep fighting. They're following him. Good dumbass. They probably got a ring on him, right?
Right.
Here, eat this hot dog, and
Isn't he still wearing all the military stuff mostly?
No, I think he dishes most of it.
But I mean, at some point, yeah.
Maybe in the arm. He's got that arm. They could have just put that in the arm.
Right, arm or leg. Yeah. Yep. They are military issues.
They could have. So okay, and then we see Nomad launch a strike on the resistance base that they're about to reach. Right.
Mm-hmm.
If they maybe like 10 minutes, if they left 10 minutes sooner. it would have been a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
And like while we see resistance fighters watch their homes get blasted from low orbit, Alfie slips down to see Josh and he gets her to help him escape overboard, right? But he hangs on to some rope hanging from the boat. Side note, it's like a floaty boat.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gliding over the water. I'm gonna mention this later on, but this is another thing taken from Overwatch, or at least not taken from I don't know, but it's also in Overwatch. Yeah, so he hangs onto the rope and like he sticks with them, right? And the resistance pulls into another village, and we see them carrying casualties from the Nomad strike earlier. And like we learned that Haru needs Alfie to take out Nomad from onboard Nomad since her cybernetic range hasn't grown enough yet to do it remotely, right? But that would mean she'd die in an explosion. And like we also see a robot teaching children that their savior will deliver them from war, and soon the two species will they'll coexist, right? And like Josh overhears all this because he's lurking around. So one, it really hit me this time. Like, imagine being Harun or just somebody like this, where you know at the moment the way to salvation is to sacrifice this kid, and like how hard, like how much weight that is on you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a good person, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like this kid being sacrificed will save millions, everything else.
Everything.
But that kid got it, man. And like the look on, like he's such a good actor. The look on his face when they don't explain all this.
He looks
He just
stressed.
says it, and like then the camera focus like holds on him, and he's just like, just the look on his face is just like fuck. Like I know what I have to do, but I don't like it.
Right.
Man, look, I was already like, this movie gets me, but this part is like one of the first parts where I'm like, yeah. And that was such a little thing, it was like 2 seconds. Like he says it, the camera holds for a little bit, and then it keeps it moving. And two, when the robot says that the two species will coexist, that's important.
Yep.
Like the word species, and I'm gonna get to it when I start ranting at the end, but hold on to that. So yeah, so that night Josh manages to sneak up to sleep in Harun and wake Alfie, and like he manages to get her away, and like they slip off, and like he whispers to her, "Standby, not off," because he puts Harun in the standby. Like there's like a button in his neck or something. Side note, did you notice that like the robots that were sleeping were charging?
Yeah.
But the simulants weren't. Like the simulants don't have to charge, but they have to sleep.
But it's
and the
wild.
Robots.
It's wild that they have an off switch though.
Yeah, especially like right there.
Well, again, like the entire thought process is that these aren't people; these are things. And so, like again, like you would turn your mobile phone off, like you got a sleep mode, or you got a sleep mode for your phone.
But they're also like smoking cigarettes and
have you watched?
Even at one point, one of them's eating.
They eat, yeah.
Yes, they don't talk about it in this movie, but they do in other science fiction things. Have you seen Pluto yet?
Yes.
Kareem?
No.
Watch Pluto, and this movie will make more sense.
Yeah.
Because this is only 2 hours. Pluto is 8 episodes. It's an anime on Netflix.
It's just called anime. I started watching
it. It's Astro Boy, but like
it's an Astro Boy story that was redone.
The dude who did the manga Monster, he wrote an Astro Boy story, but like in his style and adult,
more adult,
and it's deep. It's super deep, and it has to do with like, where's the line between AI and people, and you literally see these robots becoming human, and like there's one part where somebody was talking to a robot about grief, and they didn't know what to do, and he was like, this is how you cry, and this is what you do when you're sad. And they're like, but it's not real. And it's like, it's going to become real though once you keep doing it. And then like there are robots that like eat even though it means nothing to them, but they do it because they're gradually becoming human. And then it like changes their code as they like form follows function kind of deal. And like that's like they get into it in that show. So if you watch this, or if you watch that, this will make more sense, because I see a lot of the things that they do in this, but they don't have the time to explain it.
Because I'm up to the episode where it's the I guess the butler trying to learn how to play music.
Oh, that's episode 2, bro.
That's it. I tell it's far.
Yeah, but maybe like 6 or 7 is when you start getting into like the grief stuff and like all the stuff I talked about. You would have gotten to by between 5 and 6.
They just introduced Astro Boy.
Yeah,
or Astro Boy 2, as I keep calling him.
Adam.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the creator. Side note: watch Pluto on Netflix.
Yes.
It's like 8 movies. Honestly, them episodes long as shit, but it is amazing. If you like hard sci-fi, if you don't like hard sci-fi, you're gonna be mad at me. But so in the morning, the siren rings as American forces led by Colonel Howell approach and launch an attack on the village. And Josh and Alfie, they're still escaping at this point, but Alfie runs back to the village to try and save him. And like we get a cool sequence with Americans launching these like linebacker bomb bots that literally run into the resistance fighters and explode.
Yo, that first one.
The other thing I wanted to bring up about the whole like raid scene on the village.
Yeah.
How the fuck did they get those giant ass tanks into
I
that village without nobody?
I was waiting because that thing came out of nowhere and it was
Right.
just
What do
there.
you mean? They like the siren went off, and then when they came outside, you could see off in the distance trees were falling.
Yeah.
But it kept getting closer. But like, I mean,
that's enough time for you to start like, all right, guys, we got to get out of here. Like clearly they're on the way.
You don't send nothing out there. Look at what's that? Is anybody seeing this?
Man, that thing was the size of a city block. All right, those things were extra large.
And there's another question: where on earth are they hiding these?
Right.
But they.
It was a city.
The siren went off.
Coming to, and they had a mobile Death Star.
They had like 10 minutes
rolling towards you. It is not like it was going fast.
And it was the ass crack of dawn too. Dude was probably asleep.
No, it was going 2 miles per hour, knocking down miles of trees.
There was,
and y'all wait until it's walking distance from the entrance to the village to say, "Oh my god!"
Nah, the siren went off. People had to wake up.
But I mean, you have
he didn't even wake up, like, because we got into it. The scene, we entered the scene with Harun still asleep, and his number 2 robot woke him up. Like, hey man, the siren's going off. But remember, he was still asleep because he was in standby mode.
Right.
We don't even know how long the sirens were going off.
But I mean, like, that's enough time to evacuate. I mean, I'm sorry, you got boats, you got like water boats that you can hop on and just zoom out of town.
So they program procrastination and stimulants. That's the worst idea. That is the worst idea.
Anyway, nitpickers, you need to eject Neil deGrasse Tyson out of you. Eject.
Those were too big to eject. I could not overlook that, man. If they were just like regular tanks rolling through town, I can kind of get it.
I'm saying there's a few moments in the movie where they like time gets a little weird, but like we see them far off because we just see the trees falling, and then like the whole thing is like going on because it's not just the tanks. Also, nomads coming and all that stuff, and then they're all like panicking. And they got little kids to wake up and stuff. And then by the time it gets there, there's still people trying to get out. I'm saying, I don't know if you ever had to like evacuate something real fast. It still take like 10 minutes. Like think about a school fire drill. It take like 10 minutes for all them kids to get out to school.
But these are rebels. They have to be prepared to run at any moment. Like that's your job. Like, you got to hit and run.
That's the rebel fighter's job. Them little kids, you got to wake grandma up.
All they had to do was look towards the north.
Look.
To see a giant tank. You could have
a literal football field rolling at you, and you're just going to sit there.
Before. If it came from Nomad, you had to see a city drop from the sky.
I don't think it came from. I don't know. We don't know.
I will say my favorite way that a tank was taken down was by a monkey.
Well, I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
I'm glad you. I don't know if I should get to it now or get through it, then we'll come back.
No, let's get through it.
Let's get through. Okay, hold on to the monkey and the dog.
Yep.
Because the monkey is important, because the dog was a ha-ha, and then they did it again with the monkey, and that's a point to make. So I'm gonna come back. The linebacker bombs. Okay, so now, and then one comes barreling in, and Alfie pops up and stops it, and it kneels. But then McBride pops up and shoots Alfie, and then Josh pops up and kills him. Or well, he shoots him in the
He
knee,
kneecaps him first,
and then he like begs him, but he didn't look like he was about to chill out, so he had to kill him.
Josh got quick reflexes too.
Because this is the second time he's been in like a standoff.
Yeah. Also, he ain't a special soldier. He got quick reflexes.
Right.
I'm just saying, he can't think though.
He's got Maya on the brain.
Just acts off
your wife built a next gen AI hybrid human.
Everybody can't be smart.
All you had to do was go to the next room. That's it.
We already established he was playing Xbox, man.
Well, also, I mean, like, so again, this entire time she was Namada, so there's a good chance like she was in like a secret lab doing shit while he was at the house. So she was going to quote unquote work while like he was doing his thing, and like her work was building Alfie.
That's true.
It's probably funny. Like they probably like purposely distracted him because then nobody trust him. Right. Like, it's all right. Let's go down to the bar and drink with the robots or whatever. I'll be back, honey. She's all right. Have fun.
That I would understand. Whole village.
This man has been sleeping with the enemy for years, and he just doesn't realize it.
Hey, man.
Like he didn't catch on to the fact that like why haven't I met my father-in-law yet? I got married to this woman. I haven't met Pops once.
Here's the thing. Like, well, I don't know about that specifically, but dude made the joke. Don't go native, but like he did.
Right.
Hardcore.
Yeah, he did. Like, cause it wasn't just that he was like, "Oh, you about to mess up my thing." I honestly think he wasn't trying because he was in love. He was having a baby. Like he was just supposed to be a spy. He was supposed to go undercover and not catch feelings and just get to Namada, and that's it.
He was waiting for some old dude that builds robots to show up.
Yeah,
I don't gotta look. He'll pop up eventually.
Yeah, he wasn't doing anything other than like just chilling. And when the dude did pop up, he was probably gonna send his little smoke signal or something, and then get back to it. And he thought everything was going to be hunky dory.
Yeah, I'm going to send your dad to prison, and we can, keep being happily married. Like nothing's going to change.
Yeah, I don't know him. But yeah, so then Josh begs Harun to save Alfie, so they decided to take her to Nirmata. And then we learned that Maya created Alfie in secret, which we already did said. And she scanned their unborn daughter in utero to give Alfie the genetic code. So, oh yeah, we already said some cool parts that happened from that scene, like the number 2 robot saving the kids.
Yep.
And the linebacker robot. Missile tracking.
What?
The video game missile tracking.
Oh,
that little blue light.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They do that in football now.
That robot was like one of my favorite characters in the movie. Like
number 2 robot or linebacker robot?
Number 2.
Okay.
Because like, like he had a lot of personality for like he was in like maybe 3 scenes in the entire movie.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of personality, and it was just like, all right. Again, he has the best death scene because like it was a sacrifice scene. It was just like there's an entire family in front of me. I could keep running forward and probably outrun this thing, but
he said, "Oh, it's okay."
This whole from the time they scoop up Alfie and Josh, like you constantly see, and I'm gonna get to it in my rant.
Yeah,
you constantly see how human these robots are.
Yep,
and it's really neat and like really touching, especially in his death scene, because it's like he was running for cover. He saw them kids and was like, "Hold up,
so you'll be okay. You'll be okay."
Yeah. Like he's trying to comfort them while also like he knows what it is. His time's up. Yep. Anyway, yeah. So Joshua and Alfie arrive at a temple in the mountains where Maya remains on life support in a coma. And like she's described as being stranded, cannot return or depart because robots are unable to kill Namada, right? And then we get a really touching scene with Joshua holding Alfie and being the one to take Maya off life support. And like this is another moment where I started to cry at like that.
It was a hard scene.
Man, look. And like, I don't know if I thought about it the first time I watched it, but today I was like, I'm gonna give baby Denzel his flowers. Because people try to argue that like he can't act.
Oh,
and I was like, he can act. He maybe
his range is
he doesn't have a huge range yet. I think
he's growing. He's definitely growing.
But like this was the moment where like his range expanded to the point where I was like, right? Because he got me tearing up. Like he's holding his pseudo daughter
right,
while he has to take his wife off life
life
support,
support. Yeah,
and like the
his
daughter crying and he's
yeah.
crying, and like the look on his face was like he was selling it, man.
So another part that I wanted to point out, because I thought they had messed up the timeline, because like he's got full fro in that scene, and I was like, wait, isn't that like flashback look? And then somebody pointed out and was like, he's taking out his braids
Yeah,
like as he's approaching, and I'm like, oh, so he's just
Yeah.
yeah,
taking his hair out. All right.
yeah.
And I
He was,
love that little added scene. Might be just 'cause, black thing, but that added more to it.
yeah,
But it also, somebody pointed out, it was like that was the way he looked when they last saw each other. Like he had his hair out.
oh, I hadn't think about that.
Oh.
And so he's trying to like show up like, like
Like
just like
they,
the last time he
like
saw
yeah.
her.
Oh, so that's
Oh,
like him cleaning himself up. That's like,
Yeah.
let me show you husband.
oh, that's sweet. Dang, I didn't catch that. One thing I really like, even though there's a couple of little gaps in the writing, but one thing I really liked was they really did good on the show don't tell. So some things you
Yes.
really had to like, oh, I see what you're doing,
Mhm.
which is how movies should be.
Unlike that other movie.
Shut up. we done gave it way too much talk time. Even though I was the one defending it. But we gonna leave it alone.
Just saying.
Side note, it's funny reading the letterbox reviews for that because every other one is like Zack Snyder used AI to make this movie or write this movie.
he didn't write the movie. It's A New Hope.
It's too much screen time for freaking Zack
Okay.
Snyder.
Yeah,
The
The creator. We're talking about the creator. Gareth Edwards, the creator.
where was it? Oh yeah, so I'm crying. That's where I was.
Yes.
Took the wife off life support, and then as soon as he does, tears still streaming down his face. Colonel Howell shows up, and just to rub salt in the wound, right? And like she orders him to hand over the weapon, and then she congratulates him for taking out Nirvana, and like she sets up this machine, the same machine we saw earlier to copy the memories.
Mm-hmm. And it was fresh too, so I don't know like if there's a time limit, like if they
Yeah,
do it.
she implied that there was because she was 4 hours late with Shipley,
For the first dude.
but she was right on time for this one.
Right.
So, but then Harun pops up with the grenade launcher,
Yeah.
and once again, they don't know that that's that grenade launcher or that's that grenade or what that grenade does.
Mm-hmm.
And two soldiers immediately pop up behind him. And like Howell thinking she is good because, the
She
soldiers
got
got Harun. Yeah, she turns her back and Harun fires it anyway and it latches onto her back. And then like they shoot Harun and like she comes over to like look at the body. Then they realize it's on her back and it started the countdown.
Mm-hmm.
And she sees Alfie go to do something and she realizes what she's doing, but the soldiers don't. And she's like, no, don't shoot. But they shoot anyway and like they don't hit her, but it like Joshua grabs her.
Yeah.
But it messes her up. So because she got interrupted, the freaking grenade goes off anyway, and all three of them die. Well, all the soldiers die. Yeah, that was so funny. And also it was like chef's kiss. Like it came back, and she got taken out. Like good for you. Oh man, that was nice. Ruining this moment. It was a much smaller explosion this time too. I just realized.
Yeah.
Because Haru gets back up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was the thing too. Like again, like I'm all for I don't think Watanabe should die in any of his movies other than The Last Samurai. But
he is the Last Samurai, not Tom Cruise. Yeah.
But yeah, no, like he basically got the same. He got shot up the same way that the farmer did, but the farmer never got back up. He had the same hole in his chest. I was like, oh, he's done.
Well, he still had his spine, intact. There was a hole, but the spine was still there. Where it was a clear hole for the farmer. That's the only thing that I got. I'm struggling with you, but the spine was still there. So maybe that's robot spine. I don't know.
I mean, he has hero plot armor. He's.
Don't call it plot armor. Don't. If it was plot armor, they would have had the exact same hole. He had a spine.
Okay, all right.
So we got something to go off of.
Okay. I'll leave alone. I'm shut up.
But I mean, like when I say he survived, he really I didn't realize.
He got back up.
Yeah, he not only survived, he survived what was coming too, because he was alive in the end of the movie.
Right.
Anyway, so not dead yet. Harun stands back up and tells Josh, "Get out of here, destroy Nomad." I actually typed down Norman. destroy,
Destroy Norman.
Destroy Norman, brother, because he saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then when trying to escape, the soldiers grab Josh and Alfie and like they call him a hero and they take him aboard the plane because they're like seconds away from Norman blowing the place up.
Yep. Another depressing shot was when they had the monks lined up.
Yeah.
When they're getting out of town and he tries to stop them from shooting the monks, and
that was rough. Yeah.
They were monks.
Yeah, they weren't doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, they're about to blow the place up. Why you
Right. Why you gotta sit there and shoot? You gotta execute people when you're just gonna bomb them anyway.
Mind you, the whole time the military is just shooting at everybody, women, kids,
Yes.
robot. They don't care. They just
Meanwhile, the rebels keep trying to protect civilians while the military is just like, nah, fuck them civilians.
Yeah.
Kill everything.
So at military base in Los Angeles, they bring in Taylor to be the one to kill Alfie with an EMP weapon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And since she won't let him do it, apparently, because that's real funny. Every time they try to take her out, she stops. She like blocks the weapon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe she cuts off the lights or something. But this third time, I started to cry. And we get another rough scene as Alfie looks at him dead in his eyes while he holds his weapon up to her and asks him if she's going to go to heaven. And like then Josh whispers something to her. He fires the device and she goes limp.
That was the cruelest thing.
Man,
you knew who you
were.
Like
you're making the dad kill the kid. It's like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, and like they said it just real nonchalant. Like every time we try, she won't let us. So
can you go and just go ahead and take care of it?
Yeah.
Take 5 minutes, you know?
Like, because there's also this level of contempt that they have for him because they know that he doesn't want to do it, and they know that he made things difficult.
They don't even want him there. They don't want him there at all.
So it's like part of it is like, oh yeah, you a hero now, because it's like it's rubbing salt in the wound.
Well, and that's the thing, because again, this whole thing is a cover up, and they need a hero to come out of this because again, when we come back to it. It was never about the AI. It was about bad code that launched the nuke into the U.S. basically launched the nuke at itself because they fucked up.
Yeah,
and they needed a bad guy, so they chose the AI, and now they need a hero to go like, hey, this guy took down the AI. We're all free now. We didn't fuck up.
It's rough when you really think about it.
Yep.
But yeah, so Josh asked the general, what are they going to do with her? And he's like, normally it would be taken up to Nomad for research, but instead we're going to incinerate it down here at the Ground Zero facility. And he's like, I'd like to be there for that, please. And he's like, it's not a funeral. And he's like, it is for me, General. So then we see a motorcade headed for the aforementioned facility with the general ahead in the future limo and Josh and Alfie in a future ambulance. And like the general gets a call saying they figured out what Taylor told Alfie, because when he asked what did they say, he was like, I don't know, there's the EMP interference or whatever. So they figured out what the audio was, and we see the video play with him saying, stand by, not off. And the general ordered the vehicles to stop. And as soon as like the ambulance starts to slow down, Josh tells Alfie to wake up and do it. And she causes the ambulance to wreck. And by the time the rest of the dudes get there, Josh and Alfie escape into the sewers or something. I don't know. And they make their way to Los Angeles spaceport. And this is when we find out that there's moon colonies. So there they board a flight with the help of Alfie's power, bound for the moon colonies, right? And once the order is issued for the plane to return back to Los Angeles, Josh has Alfie take control of the plane and fly it to Nomad. And once docked at Nomad, the other passengers get escorted off the plane, and then the soldiers rush in to take Josh and Alfie, but they pop a door and the soldiers get sucked out into space. Yeah, once again, it's like they're in low. I don't know where the line is, honestly. Like, yes, space is a vacuum, but they're also in low orbit. Like, I don't know where the line is that they would still be a vacuum.
I'm gonna go back to recent news and like the airline that had a door that just, it was an American Airlines that had a door just fly off.
Yeah.
But they were relatively low when that happened,
and that's why that's why it was okay. Like if it was higher up, I think it would have been that much worse.
Yeah, like they definitely weren't at their cruising altitude. They weren't 40,000 feet or whatever.
Right.
But yeah. Is it 40,000? I don't know.
No,
but
I don't know. Yeah, they were still trying to get to cruising height. So
like, do you remember Serenity?
Yes.
So like one thing that was cool about it that I'm
You mean
not
Cowboy
sure.
Bebop, the live action?
Yeah, that I'm not sure if I saw in any other space thing. There might be, and I just didn't see it. Is there's no sound of space because there's no air, right?
Right.
So there was a space battle, and there was no sound, but it was happening as the ships were like coming down to the planet. So once they entered the atmosphere, the sound cut on.
Yeah.
Like that was really neat. So that's why I was wondering, like, where's that line where it's like we're kind of above the atmosphere, and there would be a vacuum.
I guess once we introduce oxygen into it,
I guess, yeah.
That
I
would
mean,
make
yeah,
sense.
that makes sense.
atmosphere.
Anyway, so dudes get sucked out into space. Then Josh gives Alfie the flash drive he took off of the brain scanning machine he hooked up to Maya, and Josh sets out to put an explosive on one of the missiles while Alfie heads off to kill the power to the station, right? Because they need to kill the power. Yeah, the missile is to blow up the Nomad itself, but they need to kill the power because the general is also simultaneously launching missiles to take out the rest of the resistance bases that they figured out. So the general launches all the strikes. So now it's a race against
wild the number of missiles.
Oh yeah, they were just like boom, 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 drop, 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 drop.
Some of them are like major cities too. I'm like, you can't just bomb a major city. Like, what are you doing?
Who was checking after you? Who was? You're not okay. This is now personal for you. This
like
is
like the small towns and stuff. Like it's, but then like I was like, there was like that looks like a major city. Like that is a bustling giant building, like skyscraper city. Like, you're gonna bomb this now?
Hey, because the New Asia was like 5 or 6 Asian countries that kind of came together.
Yeah.
So including Japan. So it's like full on, like, yeah, that's wild. But yeah. So so that was a race against time, and like some of the missiles got launched before Alfie could cut the power. So they couldn't save everybody. And Josh's bomb is going to explode in 10 minutes. Side note, when he was on, like we mentioned it earlier, when he was on that missile and you really get a size.
Oh yeah, when they're crawling from missile to missile.
Yeah, you get that like the reference of how big those missiles are and how big the space station is. It's like, holy shit, except it's the size of whales. But yeah, so after Alfie killed the power, though, she went and found some simulants. Like I guess she saw it when she was like in the system or whatever.
Her mom.
There's like they had some simulants on standby, like freaking Westworld,
which is also weird, seeing as the fact that they were, again, like this is on the space station that they were like, hey, we're anti AI. Like why do we have simulants on there?
It's to test. Because he said, remember, normally they would be sent up for research purposes, and that might also include why there's a Maya's copy up there. So that's all I got. So yeah, so she finds that copy, and then she loads the data that she has from the flash drive in. I guess with the hopes that, mommy comes back, daddy's here, and we can go be a happy family. So Alfie and Josh meet up at the escape pod, but before both of them can get in, the military down in LA gets control of a remote robot and with a bunch of menacing arms, like tentacles, and like to separate them, right? And eventually they beat the robot, but in the process, the escape pod door gets jammed with Alfie inside, and like Josh is outside. And so Josh went ahead and said his goodbye to Alfie and manly launched her. And like that was a rough scene.
Both of them acted that scene out.
Oh yeah. So this must have been what you were talking about. Like this was like the last day of filming. Cause man, yeah. So now Nomad gradually exploding. Once the bomb went off, Nomad started exploding, right? And Josh wanders into the greenhouse section where he sees his wife Maya that Alfie had woken up, and like she didn't tell him what she was up to, right? So he just stumbles across his wife.
Yeah.
So that was a great moment for me. That was really neat seeing him just like, like you did the thing, now you're about to die. And it's like, well, I just lost my daughter, or at least I'm never gonna see my daughter again, and I'm about to die. And it was just a final moment of joy.
And it was great how happy she was to see him.
Yeah, it was nice. And I know some people are probably gonna shit on this moment, like, really, why they do that or whatever, because they ain't got no souls. But I thought it was beautiful. We thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
So, side note, I put wife with asterisks.
That moment, I was like, oh no, because I realized that she. I was like, oh shoot.
It was like 30 seconds. Yeah. But at least they got the hug. It's something, right?
Yeah.
And like he knows that was like it
Mhm.
might not have been her like in the flesh,
Yeah.
but
It
her
was
memories
Her
were
still
in
memory.
her.
there. Like so it
Yeah.
was essentially, yeah. And like Nomad fully explodes and like Alfie watches it from the escape pod. She starts crying. And what's left of the resistance and folks all over New Asia celebrate as Nomad chunks rain from the sky. Hopefully not too many people died. I
Oh
guess probably
no.
less people died from that than the actual nukes that went off, right?
Neil deGrasse Tyson's kicking in again for me right now.
Well, don't do it.
I
Because
mean,
so
given
if she's been like she was basically brain dead for the last few years, they just kept her on life support. So if she's brain dead, how do they do a brain scan of her?
technology,
It was in there. She was in there somewhere. She just wouldn't turn on.
technology
But
is
the
advanced.
memories are there, right?
But like I don't know, brain dead usually means like the brain's not. There's no activity in the brain.
It's technology. It's so advanced. It was able to pull something.
Okay,
I'm leaving it at that.
I'll turn
I'm
my brain
leaving it
off.
at that. They got simulants that don't need to be charged and can eat, and they got robots that need to be charged but can smoke. It's technology. It's advanced, and,
Amen.
and the government putting holes in the planet for years. This
Look,
is
uh, that's not what bugged me, but I'll
Okay,
get to it in a minute.
okay, go for it.
So yeah, so Nomad chunks rain down from the sky. Resistance in New Asia celebrates. Alfie's escape pod lands, and like we get the beautiful, beautiful final shot of her looking out over at everybody celebrating, and like she's already crying from losing her parents, right? But then like she starts to smile as she's crying because it's like we did it, and
Mom and dad back together.
amazing final shot.
she knows she saved her people.
Yeah, I look the way she looked in that final shot. I looked watching the movie. I was like,
Yeah, that's a
oh
sweet
man.
shot.
But yeah. So, what was your favorite aspect of the film?
Visually, I think that movie was great. Again, I love the shots. I think we'll go into that in the later one, but I thought Alfie, the actress that played Alfie, was fucking fantastic. She needs to be in more films.
Mhm.
I think she'll do really well. Ken Watanabe is always a plus for me. Like I don't think I've ever seen a film I haven't enjoyed him in. I may not have enjoyed the movie, but I've enjoyed his performances.
What movie you throwing shade at?
The Godzilla movie that he was in wasn't great. He was fun
What?
in it.
Okay, well that's in the podcast.
Yeah.
Come on, man, let them fight.
Again, his performance fantastic.
So what's your overall favorite aspect? Was it the acting, like that? Because folks came through this movie. I agree.
Yeah, I think everyone that acted in this film gave it their all. I think there were no bad performances. I still think that Joshua is a little poorly written, but I mean, like I can overlook that with the overall like arc of the film. I do think it was too long. Like that movie could have been like maybe a half an hour shorter.
I
Like
don't mind the length.
It was. I was starting to feel it towards the end.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure what I would cut out, and that's always that's not just this movie. Like a lot of movies, I'm like, my butt's starting to hurt, but I don't know what I would throw in the trash. What I would leave on the
I think.
I don't mind.
Yeah, I can't think of what I would cut out. Like I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, what could we have shortened to make this like a tighter film?
Because the third act, the timing was a little sloppy.
That's where I
guess,
said
with
it.
certain
The
things.
the final, like the climax, like it started to rush, and we started to hit some like logic gaps.
Mm-hmm.
But
They could have ended it without having them go to the space station to blow up the space station. Like I feel like that was really out of character, especially like all of a sudden he went from just like my wife to I got to destroy the space. I've got to.
Well,
now that part
we
was
saw
wonky.
him learn though,
Yeah,
like because he was when he was lurking, he heard Ken Watanabe say it,
yeah,
and like I guess it started to sink in,
yeah.
and then he probably started formulating the plan right there. To be honest,
Yeah, because I was gonna say that whole space station, blow up space station was wonky, but I think that fits him as a character because there was no plan; it was just him going, and he knew what she could do.
and
He
he
knew
just
what he
trusted
had
her.
to do,
Yeah.
and he didn't know what was there when he got there, and it was just him. Because even when he was like climbing out with the missiles.
Yeah.
He looked like, okay,
Man, he was
I'm doing
stressed.
this.
where am I?
He was
Where
like,
am I going? What are we doing with this?
I'm gonna get on a missile and I'm gonna put the bomb on the missile. Yeah, that sounds good. Like,
because it gave me like we're playing a video game and it's that one of those missions where you got to save the character and still kill the boss, and you don't know what you're gonna do with this person. You just like, okay, I know what my end goal is. Let's try this. You go do that, and I'm gonna try to focus on this. Oh no, wait, you're getting attacked over. Oh my god, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
he was stressed. He was so stressed that last bit. But yeah, I think I talked over you though. I'm sorry. What was your aspect?
I think that was it. Like, yeah, we're talking about what I would cut, and like I can't think of anything that I would cut to make the movie shorter. It just, like I said, that third act didn't come together as well as I'd like it to have. So yeah, no, all around, I really enjoyed this movie.
Karreem, what's your favorite aspect?
Honestly, the simulants for their design and then how human they were.
100%.
I thought was amazing. Because a lot of movies like this, it's either they lean too hard on the human or robot being human, or their robot aspect, and it kind of throws it off.
You get the Blade Runner replicants where it's just like, can you tell if it's a replicant or a human? Or
right. Because then they had to even differentiate between stimulant and
Robot.
AI robot.
Yeah.
Which I thought they did a great job of.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I don't want to just say sci-fi shit because I'll, it's injected in sci-fi shit. But I genuinely loved how the sci-fi was exploring a philosophical aspect of everything. Because I was hinting at it earlier, but like just the idea, and I think the reason why I love it so much is because I'm writing 2 books on this.
Nice.
I say writing. Tell the truth, shame the devil. I ain't picked up a pen yet, but I got the stories in my head, and this movie came really close to one of them. Well, not really, 20%. Like, you're not going to be like, yo, Tiff copied the creator, but the themes it deals with is like I love the idea of where is the line between robot and human. When does the robot start to become a new species? And then the philosophical side of it, where it's like humans created the robots, and then like, are humans gods to the robots? And like, then the relationship between robots and humans and God. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that whole exploration, which they didn't really get too deep into it, but it was definitely there. Like, that's so neat to me.
Well, I mean, Namada was, because again, remember, Namada was, they couldn't kill Namada.
Yeah.
Because like they couldn't kill the creator.
That was their god. Yeah, their creator.
They knew
it was just neat to see. And then they used a lot of themes, theological themes and whatnot. And I thought that was neat how it weaved in there. And once again, it's like, it's not saying anything specific, but it raises questions. And I like to think about those questions. So that's my favorite aspect. Was there a favorite scene, like specific moment in the movie for you guys?
Now I gotta think. Again, it's got to be something with Alfie, because again, like I think like every time she's on screen, like letting it, like
you got any
the
quotes?
Ice cream scene when they're like, you like ice cream? She's like, yeah. There's also the candy scene, which I think is hilarious. Like, what do you like? I like candy.
Hell no, pick a different one.
I'm gonna say it's the scene where her and Josh had to separate on the space station because of how hard she went in with acting on that part.
Yeah, all four of them scenes that got me tearing up. That one, and then him holding her and cutting the life support off, I think got me the hardest. And shit, even when he was supposed to kill her,
right? Like,
am I going to go to heaven? Oh my god.
That was also like it was in the trailer, but also one of my favorite lines from Alfie was, I guess we're both not going to heaven because you're not good and I'm not a person.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
Ooh. When it started getting real emotional, I think that outweighs any of the cool shit for me.
Yeah.
And I love the cool shit too, don't get me wrong, but Like, I didn't expect the movie to get me like that. And it got me like that the second time too. Like the first time, I don't know if I was in the theater, I just didn't want anybody to see me cry, and I was by myself this time. But like this time, I was really like, fuck. I will say, I think my favorite scene though, it's got to be when they were the raid on the village at the end, and like there's several different things. There's like three things: the robot death, the linebacker robot running through the smoke,
the city tank nobody saw,
the city tank that I saw. Anyway, that was all pretty cool. And then so even though it was wonky, the Nomad, when they were on the space station, like Nomad, just seeing the size of it, I was fuck. This is cool. But yeah, so I'm not gonna say MVP character because we already know who that is. Favorite character, and which character are you?
Can I answer a different question?
Sure.
I think Gemma Chan was wildly underused in this movie.
Yes.
Like I think she's a great actress, and like I've noticed this with like a lot of the her roles lately have been very like toned down, or just like, hey, Gemma Chan's in this movie, and it's like 2 scenes.
Yeah, I mean there was the Eternals. She got the most of that.
She
one.
did.
But outside of that, yes.
I wanted to see more of Namada and like what Namada's philosophies were.
I think her stuff where you see more of her are less big. Like she's in, I don't want to say indie stuff, but there's British stuff too. Like she was in like a period piece, if I'm not mistaken, that she was one of the leads in.
Humans is a TV show that I think was from the BBC, was really good, and she was a lead in that too.
Okay.
Yeah. Also had to do
was
with
that about robots? Yeah. Okay. All right, Chris sidestepped the question.
Yeah,
but Karreem, unless you do have one.
I'm gonna say the robot that sacrificed himself to save the kids.
Yep,
I thought that was gonna be Chris's.
Number 2 is he's my favorite.
That's your favorite. Now, who are you actually?
Who am I?
In the movie,
I know there's just not too many characters, so it's not a big deal.
That's hard because
I am Joshua because I'm a simp for my wife.
Nothing wrong with that.
And,
nothing wrong.
I'm gonna say I'm Alfie because I'm just vibing the whole movie.
She really was.
Don't know quite what's happening, but I know I like you. For the ride. I trust you. You need me to do this one thing. All right, cool. Let's do that.
Yeah, you seem fun. Like,
man,
you don't want to be Drew?
I forgot about Drew.
I'm just trying to help my friend out. Now look at me.
I did.
I'm not Drew because, like, you know what? Like, I will help my friends to do just about everything. But if I'm gonna end up dead, I'm sorry.
Don't come here. Didn't know. He didn't know.
He didn't know.
No, he knew.
I think I am Drew. If my friends popped up on my doorstep needing help, I'm gonna just help them. I'm not gonna think much past that.
Died to help you.
Okay, now that part, I'm gonna be heated, but right now I ain't got nothing else in my life. Now I'm about to be killed, or people targeting me now.
Might as well keep helping.
I just got my friend. We got to stick together now. We restaurant. You ain't going nowhere now.
Like you said, you go cuss him out in the car.
Yeah. We gotta have words in the car.
That's funny.
Alfie, cover your ears.
Oh yeah, Alfie, cover your ears.
Alfie's my favorite, and I'm Joshua. Because like you said, he's not anything special for real. He just happens to be the protagonist, but he's not like a superhero or anything.
No,
he just
special ops.
He was just was put into a situation.
Yeah,
and he's making the best he can.
Yeah,
he was a guy who's he's doing. This is a revenge story that ends up because again, like his whole through line is like his entire family was wiped out during the LA bomb, and now like he's in it to take down the AI because again the AI or what caused his family to die, just to find out that it wasn't that all along.
Then he saw Gemma Chan and all that shit went out the window.
Right. Sorry, mom and dad, I found wifey. I hope you could forgive me in heaven.
Oh man. But yeah, so final thoughts. Anything we didn't already say?
No, just thought this was a great movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll make any changes to it. Well, I would want more of Near in the movie, just to see what the dad did and then what he even showed his daughter.
Oh, Nirmata?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
got you. Yeah, we don't even see the dad.
No, we
No.
don't.
Yeah.
It was just something between the relationship of Near and the AI. Something a little
Okay.
bit.
This goes back into like I'd like to see more of this world because again, like I'd love to see like the birth of the Sims and like why Armada had to like again. It sounded like even before what do you call it? The bombing, like he had to kind of go into hiding.
Yeah,
And
I
so
got
like
you.
world politics again, like what world do we live in where like another foreign power can just bomb the shit out of multiple what seemed like multiple countries?
Was he the one that did the coding error and had to go into hiding?
No,
No,
because again, that's
I think
you create. Yeah,
I think they were after him because here's the
I want a
thing:
scapegoat.
they don't say. I mean, yeah, but they don't say when the simulants became a thing.
Yeah.
If it was before or after the bombing, but he was advancing AI after the bombing.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah. Free will.
yeah, for me, I mean, I already said I loved it, but I just thought how cool it was, like the themes it explored and all that stuff. Uh, one thing I forgot to mention, the animals.
Mhm.
So the dog
Yes.
part, if they had just left it the dog part, that would have been a joke. But then
Mhm.
they did it again with the monkey, and because they did it a second time, I think that was to show us how primitive the humans have become, or specifically the Americans, and the animals knowing to help out, I guess Alfie
Mhm.
or
I mean,
the good guys in the movie. Like I think that's a sign of like not just animals be knowing, but also like that's how bad the Americans are.
well, the dog dropped the grenade back on the cops that
Yeah.
were in, so that wouldn't have been the same because those are police trying to come and take out the American, which is the foreign
I
body.
mean, yeah, but the Alfie was
The,
with them.
yeah, but the
So
monkey
that's why I was like,
the monkey
yeah.
definitely was looking at the bomb
Well, yeah, he
as it
knew what
was
he was
going
doing.
by. Like he was like, all right, I see it. Boom.
And
Like
also
it
animals
wasn't
know
one of those like I'm just gonna press the button because there's a flashing
Yeah.
red button there. He
He knew
was
what he
just
was
like,
doing.
yeah.
And I
He
think
probably he probably watched like again because again you got to think like these people are training so that this way if they've got to use bombs and stuff like that they're probably doing it in
the
that
monkey was
area.
watching them training the whole time.
Yeah, and
Monkey
just
was
like
training too.
right.
Look, we don't know. The robots probably talk to the animals.
Right.
So that's how. See, Nirmata advanced AI to the point where AI can communicate with the local fauna. Ergo,
So it's like
monkey know
Chopper
how to
in
use
One Piece,
bombs.
where Chopper can talk to all the animals for everybody.
not ergo.
Ipso facto.
Ipso facto, but ipso facto, this was a great movie.
It was. Oh,
So
I was gonna say, my views have changed a bit on Joshua after the conversation we had. So, like, he's not quite the loss of the wife and like the fact that again like it's like all right she might be alive, I might have a chance to make up for my mistake. That makes more sense than just like my wife. It's like all
yeah,
right, calm down, dude.
cool. So you be friends with Joshua in real life?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. He
No,
gets
don't
all his
push it.
friends killed. He gets all
Oh,
his friends killed. I don't know.
good point. Good
That
point.
means trouble.
All right. Look, I don't want this smoke, man. Look,
Yeah.
just stay away from me. Oh, that's funny. So ratings.
Solid 8
Cor-
for me.
8?
8 out of 10. Again, like I said, top notch performances. Like
Yeah.
visuals were so on point. Like I can watch this movie and just like you can watch this movie with the volume off and still kind of get the same experience, but you're so much better for turning it on
Yeah.
because everyone's bringing their A game. Again, the actress that played Alfie, I hope she's got a larger career ahead of her. I think she was fantastic. Child actors can be really either A, hard to work with, or B, hard to get the performance you want out of her. But I mean, like again, I sent you that list, and one of the things that Gareth Edwards did was he held back shooting the emotional scenes for towards the end of filming. This way, like the actors at that point created a bond, and so like those emotional moments between Alfie and Joshua, that's like a legitimate friendship that they had on set. And so like when you're thinking about losing a friend, like that really kind
Yeah.
of pulls that out of you. Like man, yeah, that's me.
All right. Kareem.
I didn't even pick up my phone the whole
Yeah.
time watching it.
Nice.
I was tuned into the movie the whole time.
That's his new rating system. Is
How many
how much you
times
look at
I
his
picked
phone.
up my phone and looked at it watching the movie. But this was a great sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I had it at an 8. I'm gonna leave it at an 8 because we didn't really get into it, but gets a little wonky at the climax with like the time and like some logic leaps. But in general, movie still hits so hard with me. So it's still a great movie. So I'm not gonna give it the masterpiece. It wasn't life changing, but I love it. So 8 out of 10. I would buy the Criterion though if it came out, honestly.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the episode, guys. Plugs.
I've got nothing at the moment. You can follow me on Instagram at I'm_no_artist.
All right. Karreem.
I got no plugs.
Don't follow Karreem.
I'm mysterious.
All right. You can follow the podcast at SGBK Podcast on Threads, on Blue Sky, and on Instagram now, because I didn't realize by making the Threads, you also made an Instagram, which makes perfect sense. I just didn't think about it. Yeah. And so might as well post over there too. And you can email us at sgbkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to follow me personally, I'm at Tifron on Blue Sky and Letterboxd. All right, guys. Next week, I forgot what we're doing. It is...
It's a movie.
Next week, we're doing The Artist, if I can find it streaming easily somewhere. If not, we might have to figure that out. All right. But bye, guys.
Later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.